Oh, wow.
AI-driven analytics.
On-farm payrolls coming in here. Downside print, it looks like 143,000 versus 170,000 was the consensus there. So a bit of a miss, to say the least, to the downside. 205 was the forecast on that number. Again, 143,000 for January non-farm payrolls. The unemployment rate 4% versus 4.1 expected. On the continuing claims side of things, we down here 111 versus 180, so downside print there as well. Average weekly hours 34.1 versus 34.3, so it looks like right across the board, a bit of a miss. Participation rate, though, bit of an uptick, 62.6% versus 62.5% there, but we also got Canadian jobs data there as well. Overall, the unemployment rate on this side of the border, a little bit of an improvement, 6.6%. That's unexpected. A lot of people were looking for an uptick from 6.8% that was expected on that number. So employment change overall higher, 76,000 created versus 50,000 print that was expected there. So overall, we'll bring up the market here. A bit of back and forth action for the Qs at this point, but initial reaction upside. We're returning to the downside here a little bit. We'll talk about Tesla coming up there. An interesting note out of China this morning. Tesla sales over in China downside for 2 months in a row. It's worth noting. So a little bit of a slowdown as far as demand is concerned. Better part of a full percent here for Tesla. Amazon, the big earnings name, starting to roll over here with the overall market as well. We'll see what the comments are like coming up a little bit later this morning. There are a few Fed speakers to come through, but decent sized miss there, downside.
Yeah, and a big drop from the December quarter too, Brendo. It should be expected. Obviously, the December quarter a little, or the December NFP a lot more aggressive of a number, 256,000 versus the 170 here. Unemployment rate was expected to be 4.1. Layoffs remain low, Brendo, but job openings are declining. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I just want to mention that the revisions are quite aggressive, so we could get some revisions already. Here we go. December payrolls revised down to 307. November revised down to 261. Lots to talk about. Amazon in play. Today they kind of had a weaker guidance for AWS. And it's slowed down a little bit. Pins moving, Affirm moving, Take-Two Interactive. So many different earnings.
Yeah, talk about. We sat here yesterday. That was the one thing that we were kind of looking for. That cloud number for Amazon turns out to be a bit of a miss. As I mentioned here, just real quick, 8:40 and then 9:25, we'll get Kashkari and Bowman coming through for Fed speakers, and then at 10 o'clock, this one can move the market as well. Michigan consumer sentiment coming up this morning. Also, so a bit of a jam-packed economic calendar after that NFP report. Overall, the market, though, kind of back and forth here now. Yeah, a little bit of continuation move to the downside. I mean, it's 0.25%, so could be worse.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Neil's muted, not me, of course.
It could be way worse.
Congratulations to Josh Allen.
I'm actually, you know
the
what?
first time ever that happened, where he was not the QB1 in the
didn't get the All-Pro,
yeah,
and then still won the MVP.
That's very like, why would it's the same voter?
I believe that Allen should have won the MVP, and I'm glad that he won it. But I am a little bit surprised. I actually thought, like, if I was putting money on it, I probably would have bet on Lamar Jackson. If you were putting money on stocks, hopefully it wasn't Nikola. So no, like, no matter what it looks like, you can talk about Elf, we can talk about Bill. The market might be down 0.1% on the ES, but Nikola could be done. I feel like it's one of those, we knew this was coming, and there they are down 38% today. Like, you really would have thought like Elf would be the biggest down story, but unfortunately, a bunch of reverse splits. Now it looks like it's over for Nikola. Eventually. Sometimes, hey man, every now and then you get bounces on days like this on Nikola. Maybe there'll be some kind of a fade. But Elf really fell off the shelf. And I'll try to say that very few times today. Shot 25% to the downside for Elf. It was equally impressive to the upside for Pins. Affirm has got some massive levels as well. I love the fact that Amazon not reaffirmed their guidance, but increased their CapEx spend, the guide for CapEx spend, over to $100 million, or billion for next year. I think that's good for the Nvidia continuation.
Oh, I didn't
But
know you were here.
the market is headed back in. Look at this. Not just a watermelon, but we get a couple of blueberries too.
Oh, I love blueberries.
Yo, I have that same different color. I have that same shirt though. Superman is in the building.
Yeah. Superman is here. Wow, you're here on a Friday.
Yeah, I'll take it.
What?
They keep
Where is
feeling.
the other guy?
Oh,
Oh yeah, no,
I
they didn't
thought
see
those
it.
guys took it.
Randy threw it at Sharif the other day. That's why it was.
You just spit clean the bowl. Okay.
What happened?
No, that's fine.
Nicola's bankrupt finally. It looks like here. NK. Oh, here.
It's
Here's the
over.
daily chart for Nicola. And you know, not every business is going to be a winning one. And if we go over to a weekly chart, GM was actually in this name very, very early, and then was able to get out. We ought to talk about marijuana stocks. This stock at its high, $2,800. It wasn't. It's just that it split 1 to 30 right there back in June, and now you can see we're down here, and that's the story of Trevor Milton and Nicola.
He got his money though. I
There we
mean,
go.
that's how it always works, right?
I think he did some time too. Okay, so that's Nicola, and then Tesla today as well. Yeah, Volkswagen's heading to the south side as well there. Yeah, but Tesla also today down another 1.21%. Not good numbers coming out of Germany, not good numbers coming out of China. We'll have to wait to see what happens here. But we said you want to talk about Elf on a Shelf. This name is also breaking this shelf rate here as well, coming back in. I think Tesla eventually winds up around this 340 marker where it gets a little more interesting than where it is now.
Back in October, calling for pullback. Anyway, we are.
All right.
remember
Randy
that
was
too,
thinking
Randy.
a pullback, so it looks like.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the coffee time is anytime, my friend.
Follow.
Okay, so yeah, just a couple little things there that we touched on. I mean, I think Amazon's going to be interesting. I don't know. It's not moving around enough. It's actually, its implied move was 6%. It looks like we'll be out here at 3%. That's not going to be super exciting to me.
But it's-
Palantir.
But on a good note, Amazon didn't, with the cloud miss, it wasn't as bad as Alphabet. So, you know, you don't have to worry about it being almost down double digits. I kind of like that. Altair is doing a ton of volume, man.
It's already done 3 million.
Yeah, it's already done 3. It's not, like, it might not beat NVIDIA in volume, but at this point, like, relative volume is through the roof. So you got to be looking at Palantir again. No questions asked. I like some of the Trevor Melted
Yeah,
in the chat there from Rafiq.
good one.
That's a good one. I'm sure there's lots of puns you can make for that company, but you're going to see some, we knew this would happen. You're going to see some of these like EVs. They're all going to, not everyone makes it, and you're going to see a lot drop off, especially in this year. Like, it's going to be that kind of a year.
Just hope it doesn't happen to Rivian.
That I was about to say, but hopefully Rivian's got enough
I'm
runway.
not really in.
No, I think they're okay. I think,
You know, I put all my money in Ford.
boom.
No, I didn't really. Yeah, Palantir. The sticky note's going to be out in T minus 30 seconds. But this 111 area is something that I'm going to sit on. That's that 200 period moving average. That's what we're going to have right here on the sticky note. It says 111. So, I mean, that could come in. We have now, when you put the list out here at 8:38, the market's not open until 9. So we'll have to, or 9:30. Hello. We're going to have to wait to see where it goes. But yeah, right now Palantir is catching my eye a little bit just because it's up and it just bounced off 113. I mean, this name has gone absolutely like parabolic, just since even since the day where we made our picks where, it was people were like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's picking Palantir again. And I mean, that was $64, $65. And now you're just straight up, I mean, a lot of names have gone up. IBM has been a great pick. There's been lots of good names that have gone straight to the upside, but this name has gone absolutely insane. So I am thinking about, honestly, like maybe taking out maybe 10% again. I don't know. But eventually, if you keep on picking away at the iceberg, then eventually it becomes just a little teeny snowball. And we're trying to let this iceberg
go that far.
grow.
If you to go from an iceberg to a snowball is like the chart of Nikola. That's not trimming.
No. I'm saying eventually, if I keep
Okay.
on doing
Yeah.
it, eventually it will become not as big of a position.
But sometimes you gotta-
Yeah, no, sometimes you got to do that. The thing is that the market could be in trouble. We had Andy on yesterday. He was talking about being in primarily cash right now, and being pretty light in the market. So I don't know. But everything that Donald Trump seems to be doing here isn't really adversely like
It's pro-business, man.
yeah, like the NASDAQ and ES and we can call the Dow up and everything. This is the 30-minute chart here of the Qs. like you're minutes away from this all-time high. Like even if we go into a daily chart here, it's going to look pretty impressive to me. I mean, okay, he's now been there. It's February 7th, so a month. And yeah, things seem to be on all cylinders, right? I did hear a story though yesterday that they pulled away a lot of the census information from some of the websites there.
Yeah, there was
So
a
that's
bunch of
interesting.
data.
Like, I don't know, is that a Doge thing? Like, I don't know what they're doing here, but
I don't know.
that's interesting to me. I don't want to get into like that China thing where they're, we have some employment situation, so we're not going to be releasing that data anymore. So
That'd
there
be
goes
very
Palantir
1980.
again, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, just bounced off one. It's up to 12.50.
It'd be very 1984-esque, the book.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw something. There was something that happened
yeah, books.
on NVIDIA. Maybe it's anecdotal, but I don't usually see this, especially when an economic number came out. But somebody was already offering 150,000 shares at the 130 level as the number came out. Like usually you don't see that kind of liquidity in the pre-market, especially when you have economic data coming out there. So I suspect there's going to be, if we get to the 130, there's going to be a big old level on NVIDIA that we can possibly chew through here today. It didn't get there yesterday. I mean, it broke the 129 yesterday, didn't break the 130. It's just been a long every single day, so it's been like a dip and rip, but it hasn't broken this out yet. It just look at the gap. It's a very nice looking gap on the chart there for NVIDIA. But yeah, someone was offering 130. I think that's going to be a big size fill and potential breakout on NVIDIA today, but kind of feel like NVIDIA has a potential breakout every day, almost.
Love us some NVIDIA.
Yeah, Michael Moss coming up here this morning. He's going to talk about semiconductors as well and why this year might be a little bit different than past years as far as semiconductors, semiconductors, maybe financials this year over semiconductors. A couple other things moving around here this morning. ELF crushed off a pretty bad report here. 25% for ELF Beauty to the downside this morning. Shocking no one, Pinterest is also up 22%.
Yeah, I know. Pinterest is doing well, Brendo. I mean, they're really doing well. They've got good deals here with Meta and Google for digital ad sales, really pushing people onto their platform. They're also getting more engagement from Gen Z, so it's a good look there. Their daily active users are up, but ELF, oh, what a drop here, 24% going. Q4 earnings slightly missing expectations. Revenue did exceed estimates, but it was really the guide here that hurt a lot of what we're talking about. They cut their full year guidance after the weaker than expected January performance. So the market made them pay, and we're dropping into that $65.
So what you're telling me is Pinterest is a younger thing.
You know what, Jen? Yeah, apparently. Well, it wasn't really supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
They're starting to engage. So it's the old folk like us who had been carrying.
In the past 12 months, estimate, how many minutes have you spent on Pinterest?
12 months?
Yeah.
0.
Exactly.
That's the truth.
Same.
I went on it a little bit more during the pandemic. You can kind of get some nice ideas and stuff like that if you're looking for crafts and like fashion, but otherwise.
I've never understood it. If he's ready, guys, let's just bring him in and we'll talk about the overall market here a little bit. Individually, sectors, there's been a little bit of a change as far as year over year is concerned. And Mr. Nosh, you want to talk about weed as well, which has been moving around here a little bit the past couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, for the record, I've also spent 0 time on Pinterest my entire life.
Thank you. Exactly.
But, only price pays, and that's what's happening with the price, I guess. But yeah, so we can get started here. And
Sure.
I want to just start with the chart of the SPY. I know we all look at the chart of the SPY, but I just want to show that we're kind of range bound here, right? And we're near the top end of that range, but really, right, we're just kind of hovering inside of this range. So quite often, and this is, a little bit of a meta discussion, we got to keep an eye on what is the S&P 500? What are these indexes? And they're just baskets of stocks. So when you're range bound like this, there's kind of 2 things that could be occurring to make this range bound. One is all sectors and all markets are range bound. Then the other is rotation. So for example, if things like semiconductors aren't doing that hot, but everything else is doing okay, then because semiconductors make up such a large percentage of the index, you can have sideways index movement, but then you can actually have a lot of positive movement under the hood where you have sectors and you have individual names really, really moving. So what I want to do is I want to go and let's dive in a little bit and see if is there any opportunity in this chop, or is this just kind of a stay away market? So first chart here, this is just the SMH. I just drew the same kind of resistance area at all-time highs just to show how much further down we are on a relative basis in semiconductors than we are in the market. So again, this is more evidence that if one of the strongest sectors over the last few years, that's pulling back a little bit, then the S&P 500 should be holding up in some other area. Some other aspect should actually be doing well. So that's kind of what we're seeing here when we take a look at the next chart here, which is just the overall heat maps. This is the last 7 days, just to show that even though the market's, up a little bit, but still stuck in that range, most sectors that I watch anyway, this is kind of from my custom list here, are doing fantastic. And, the top ones, we see PSIL, which is psychedelics. We see MSOS, which is marijuana stocks. These certainly weren't the darlings in the last few years. These were really beaten up type names. Now we're seeing some rotation into them. So talked about this a lot, but for those who haven't heard my rant, this is what you want to see in a bull market. Because if you have somebody in at large institutions, hedge funds, they made a whole bunch of money in NVIDIA. This is what we talked about what would happen in the beginning of the year. They don't want to sell it end of last year because they've got to realize some tax gains. If, for example, they want to sell those gains for this year and just push those tax gains down the road, which most people do, we have to go, okay, what are they doing with the money? So they've sold, and most institutions have to own 90, 95% of whatever they have in something. They can't just sit in cash. So if that money flows into just bonds or gold or safe-ish assets, consumer staples being a big one, dividend-bearing companies, then they're worried about the market. They don't want to put money to work. They want to take those profits. They kind of want to hoard them. They want to wait for whatever they think is going to happen to the market to recover. If you start to see psychedelic sectors and marijuana sectors and WGMI that's up there is your Bitcoin miners ETF, these, to me, are not safe assets. So it shows that these funds are rotating under the hood and they're buying different risk assets. So they still want to put risk on the table. Maybe they just think semiconductors, the AI play is kind of played out for a bit, or they're just taking partial profits and just spreading the money throughout. What we want to see in a bull market. So just a couple names that look really good when I went through this list. And again, that's what I'll do this weekend as well. XLF. So we have financials hitting all-time highs. This, to me, should be an interest rate play. Kind of means that they think that whatever's going on with these numbers and whatever's going on with the Trump administration, who's openly said he's going to try to bully Jay Powell into lowering rates. That's going to be good for these guys because they can start lending and doing things like that as well. Next sector here is that PSIL. So the next chart, here is PSIL. So this is the psychedelic sector. These got a big move. Some of my friends who I was kind of asking why this breakout now after all this time said that, the RFK confirmation that took place, I guess he's pro psychedelics and rescheduling some of these drugs. So this might be a good sector to again take a look at. And the main reason I want to show this is because it's just showing that, hey, this is not a risk-off sector, right? Large institutions would not be plowing money into psychedelics. And then again, the next chart here, which is MSOS or our marijuana sector, if they were worried about the long-term health and long-term growth of the market. This sector, so the PSIL, the XLF, those charts look good to me. This one, it does look good to me, but you have to be careful. There's been so many people disappointed for so long on this particular sector. Be very, very careful. When you're playing this, it's in like the worst downtrend of all time if you zoom out. But we've got a nice little support zone on a lot of these. And this one, for example, it's around $4, around $3, $3.50 a share. So if you're looking to bottom pick, this might be one, but the main takeaway I want you guys to have is that even though the market is range bound, even though darlings like NVIDIA and AMD aren't doing too well, there is a lot of movement under the hood into different sectors. A, that's what we want to see for the bull market to be strong. And then B, this is a stock picker's market. I don't really like the term, but it just means that, hey, if you're someone who can watch a show like this, jump around to different sectors, look at what's hot on the day, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for people like that.
And on that note, talking about MSOS and what might be in that, I mean, we talked about ACB going back a couple of days ago. Nice earnings report, was up huge. CGC, not so much today, down pretty big. So as you were saying, with that specific group, definitely need to comb over things a little. Going back to the overall market here, if we're starting to see banks take the lead, if we're starting to see maybe some strength in other areas, I mean, you were mentioning looking for individual names within these groups. Once we identify which is strong, which isn't, is there maybe 2 or 3 others, industrials, something that we haven't been looking at that is also showing that relative strength?
Well, yeah, so I think KWeb is a good example as well. All of China seems to be holding strong. I didn't really want to beat down that door because I feel like I've been on here being very loud about China for too long. And same with natural gas. So we're seeing a lot of this under the hood now. With China, I know a lot of people don't like to play the actual Chinese equities. COPX is the ETF, but copper is a very interesting one as well that usually moves with China because they're just the biggest consumer of copper. But you mentioned industrials. I think they look great. Silver actually looks okay. Steel looks okay. A lot of these actual metals, like copper and steel, wheat, all of these, they make sense that they're going to move because if there's going to be tariffs on importing these from other countries, then buying the thing that is actually produced in the United States, it's going to kind of, I think, be a hedge against a lot of these. So if you're buying a United States Steel, not the company, but the actual SLX, which is the ETF for it, then, if there's a tariff placed on China, well, that's going to only increase the value in something like this. So a lot out there, I'll have a lot more charts for you guys coming out, but just think way outside the box that you're normally thinking. In the last couple of years, we've been programmed that it's you buy big tech or you lag behind. I just think that that's starting to get a little bit of a shift here. And
the best part is until the market says otherwise, we stay the course. Exactly. Great stuff as always. Have a wonderful weekend. Michael Noss, we'll see you on Monday.
Talk to you Monday.
Thank you very much there, Michael. And what's interesting is there's no better of it's a stock picker's market than you had MSOS up. Look at the difference in reaction from ACB and CGC in the last couple of days. ACB, which ramped to the upside, obviously a couple of days here. They're not doing anything today, but I mean, come on, you go 360 to 660. That's not the end of the world. And stock pickers market, Canopy, down 21% on their earnings. That is the definition of it. Although it did move in concert, just because one continues does not mean the rest will have to. So, there's something when people say like best of breed, maybe not the best example to use the term best of breed. Is there a best of breed in this space? But in a general sense, you got to be looking in the right place. Like not all AI names are going to be the same. Not all chip names are going to be the same, which I think we've said ad nauseum in here. So 100%. This is a bit of a stock picker's market, being the right names, doing the volume and the volatility. You can go either direction, right? Like you can be short the weak ones if you want to. But yeah, those weed names. CGC. It kind of sucks because CGC, going into today, if it had had a good number, it looked like it could have had a really great squeeze through $3. But what are you going to do? They did what they usually do.
Interesting. Michael mentioned, stock picker's market. I think that's true. Every day you're going to have these crazy moves in different names. Affirm, we had PayPal was a huge move. We had Roblox. It doesn't always have to be, centered around, as he had mentioned there, AMD and NVIDIA and whatnot. I did try. You can see I'm long here on Palantir. I did put, so I got filled at 11.11. Okay, here we go. So I got filled at 11.11 right there. Wait a minute, I was just waiting at so I'm waiting at 111.25. That's right where that 200 period moving average is, and we almost got filled there. Hopefully they'll just wipe up one more time and we'll get filled. But anyways, it broke 111, and when that happened, we got out. Then we just saw it hold down there. We didn't even really see it hold. It whooshed down, then it just immediately kind of went back up, and we were able to get 70s long right now on Palantir. It's not the greatest, man. I mean, the market is here, and now Palantir is here. So you could get a little bit of a Friday sell-off potentially in this name. Underneath, view up, under. So guess what? If we break 110 now, then we will hands off of this trade. We just took out 20% there at 111. Let's see if it can get a little bit higher. But that's Palantir. Make sure you guys do hit the like and the subscribe. The sticky notes out right there. We have Palantir right at this level, so we're going to continue to watch that. Uber back up to 70 was really nice. We're nice to see Uber getting that bid as well over the last couple of days. But all right, let's go find out some more catalysts with the upgrades and downgrades.
Pinterest here kicking off the upgrade side of things, also up 21% after earnings. This upgrade coming from the benchmark company. Honeywell, which reported yesterday, getting an upgrade from Deutsche Bank. We have Hershey's getting an upgrade, but a price target decrease here from Citigroup. And GE Vernova getting upgraded here by Johnson Rice, new analyst I've never seen on this board before. On the downgrade side of things, AMD downgraded here by DZ Bank. We have Elf Beauty, of course, one of the biggest earnings misses from last night, or losers from last night, getting downgraded here by D.A. Davidson. Nike, which took an unexplained plunge yesterday, getting a downgrade by Citigroup. And last but not least, Roblox getting downgraded by MoffettNathanson after that pretty massive daily active users miss yesterday, guys.
Yeah, well, it was an impressive bounce on Roblox. Like, that's the thing. Like, Roblox was down a ton, but it was pretty much a long. They would maybe like 2 spots. You could have had a couple, like a small short, but it was just a long the whole day. Nike, on the other hand, Nike got smoked yesterday. Well, smoked. When you look at a chart of Nikola or Elf, it doesn't look like smoke. But Nike had a really bad day yesterday, and it's right back into the 70 level when it looked like it was all the way toward a breakout. So it's a pretty big level here on Nike that we could be heading into off the open. So if you like a Nike, a good look here at that 70 for a potential bounce. If it loses, it's obviously a flat bottom too, 69.5. So Nike could be on the radars. I don't know what happened to it in the middle of the day. I remember checking for news when this happened and volume picked up, but we never found anything specific to Nike under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, AMD obviously can't catch a break, but that's because its own performance has not been that great. We did have a nice move there in the middle of the day, and I'm not, like we should have been. I was long NVIDIA. I was not. What I was trying to say was I was not looking short anything really there. But that was great, like 111 again. Actually, that's the same price as Palantir. Isn't that unbelievable? Like 6 months ago, AMD was at 240 and Palantir was at $25. Now they're both at 111. You can see it's just we can draw lines, we could do whatever we want to do here. But right now, whoa. Okay, that's pretty good. Right there, so top again, and then top. So right now, it definitely is this kind of a momentum, and then you just put another line right here, and you're going to see a nice little pattern developing, and it looks like we could break back down below. So I am looking for like a 109 or so break. This is just sloppy. I just wanted to show you guys what we're looking at. But anyways, that little top, I think if we can extend through, I still, like one of my top ideas is NVIDIA long, so I don't want to go against the whole chip space. But if AMD can get going on a downgrade, then I think it's worth shorting and watching to see what happens right up here again. So that high was 111.20. So this is a little sketchy here because it's in the pre-market. Let's see if we go back and make new highs off of yesterday. So that's what I'm looking at with AMD. I'd be playing short into 111, but that's just a temporary thing. And then ELF, I guess we're going to get to it. It's not even 9 o'clock. I don't want to spoil everything here. But ELF is also going to be on the sticky note today. And I kind of like this long. And we'll discuss it when it gets there. But, all right, what is this question here? Live trading. Yay, sports. Hand egg. Okay, not sure. Baseball, basketball, football, soccer. Oh, okay, this football then. If hockey was on here, that would be the number one choice. I'm not sure why baseball's on there, but we'll go foot.
It should be things in season at least. I don't know, whatever. Or you could have had like combat sports. Maybe I think would have been pretty popular. But hand egg. It's Super Bowl weekend. Hand egg.
Hand egg. The most watched sporting event in the world. Hand egg ball.
Go Philly, I suppose. Not esports. I'm not an esports guy. Esports are big.
sporting event. That's what I'm saying. So
Easily.
all right, what's up, guys?
6, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We just got NFPs. The market's zigging and zagging. So let's see if we hold 6,100 as support. If we do, then we're looking at that 6,125 area as resistance. If we break down below 6,100, let's look to 60.75, that area that we bounced off yesterday, as support.
Looks like he has wrapped up comments, but Kashkari was on CNBC there for a few minutes saying some things. So market doesn't seem to care at this point. Just beware. If you haven't done so, though, jump down to the description, hit the link, top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Free. All you need to know. Amazon is top of that list this morning, 2.5% here downside, but on its way possibly back to green if we continue this trend. Testing highs right now for Amazon, as we were sitting here talking about yesterday, a little bit light in certain areas.
Exactly. The Q4 results were fantastic. They beat everywhere. EPS beat handily. Revenue easily beat there. Net income nearly doubled, guys, year over year. They took home $20 billion in profit just on the quarter. Operating margins increased to 11.3%, but here is where it gets a little bit dicey, guys. Disappointing guidance for Q1 2025. They guided $151 billion to $155.5. That is well below the 158.5 the street was looking for. They're also citing currency headwinds. Forex, $2.1 billion is going to be a bit of a headwind there for them. Also, AWS revenue. Here's the deal. They printed about $28.8 billion. That was slightly below expectations, but a 19% year-over-year increase. Compare that to last year when they printed 13. Why do I mention this? Because Azure, even though they grew at a faster rate, they slowed down their growth year-over-year, likewise with Google Cloud. So we'll keep an eye out on that, Brendo. And then last but not least, we've been talking about this a lot, 2025 CapEx, especially for AI, they're looking to spend $100 billion.
I was wanting to hear more about those flying drones that were dropping boxes,
Absolutely.
but no such luck. I mean, we're $8 already, better part of $8 here off the aftermarket lows, guys, testing this pre-market high already.
Update there. Palantir just kept stopping at 111.20, so I actually just put an offer at 19 instead of at 25 and got that fill. So I just wanted to bring that up because some of you may have been asking about that. Yeah, so Amazon. Look, its expected move was over 6%. We just talked about it. Brendan just said that we were over $8 off the bottom. That bottom was exactly 6% right off the open. We talked about it dropping into, Neil mentioned 220, 222. That's like pretty much right there. Like, so as we were talking about that, there it goes. Nice move to the downside there on Amazon and a nice bounce back. I mean, it's only $10 from the bottom. I mean, you know, we'd still like to see the name up. Everything was working out perfectly fine, and the cloud was not really, and that was the hit. So I'm still fine with it. I mean, year over year, net improvements on margins. So I think that that's really good. That means their business is actually working when you can start to increase margins. But at the same time, it's not as exciting to me because the move isn't as dramatic as expected. So like normally you would say pull back into VWAP, but that doesn't really tell me anything today. That's only 232 right now. That would be a nothing move. So then you say, okay, what about, and I stopped the charts at about 4:30. Our charts turn off at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And then I only open them back up at 7. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's not exciting enough to me. Like, let's just say you break 230. Okay, well, there's 228 there, you know? And then if you break 228, like there's just, to me, if you're going to do anything worthwhile, it might be just to wait and see if they crush this thing back into this kind of a buy zone. So I would think that anywhere in and around here, 227 or 226 area, and then you could see if this bottom holds. But other than that, man, Amazon right now I think is just kind of not on my radar, I guess is a good way of putting it, but still great report. I mean, I think it goes out similar to Google where you had such a nice move into the number that a little bit of a miss somewhere and it gets punished, but down 2% is kind of like
it's such a nothing burger, and
it's not a big move.
Like I wouldn't want it to do what Google did. You don't want the stock to go down, but for a day trade, it would have been much more exciting if it did. Like if we were at If we're anywhere between 222 and 225, I'd be looking for a mean reversion, a long, and a buy. Instead, we'll be looking at NVIDIA and Apple. It's got some levels on it, and Affirm and Palantir and Pinterest. Like that's just where the head is going to be. ELF is also moving around a heck of a lot more. It's a boringly, I saw in the chat someone saying it's a boringly linear stock. That's great. But it doesn't always make it a good day trade unless it does something extreme here off the open, which could happen. It's a Friday, so I wouldn't completely write it off. If it gets down underneath 225, I like 222. Again, it's just some support down here from earlier, but I just don't think we trade down there today.
Talking about BYD over in China, OTC listing up huge the past little while, but Tesla struggling a little bit here as far as China sales are concerned. Downside once again to the tune of about 11.5% year over year over in China. So big market for them. 0.8 right now for Tesla.
So Tesla drops in sales and BYD increases in sales. So as you said, 11.5% decline year over year for Tesla in China. For their sales, they sold about 62,300 cars, give or take. Here's the deal. BYD sold 296,000 EV and plug-in, so not just strictly EVs, but that's a 47% increase year over year. BYD was up 10% yesterday. From what I saw, it's up another 6% today. Keep your eye out on that. Obviously, Tesla is trying to juice some of the numbers, releasing the new Model Y, the Juniper. They're also, Brendo, extending that 0% interest rate on the 5-year loan plan that's out in China. And they want to introduce FSD. We've been waiting for FSD to come out in China. It still hasn't. Last but not least, we're still waiting for that, Model 2 or whatever they're calling it, Model Q, expected in the first half of 2025. Want to hear more details about that?
Yeah, I mean, not that it means anything. You and I were touching on it just before we came on here. Tesla did almost exactly the same thing last year at the beginning of the year. I think it was 260 to 140 before it turned around, and then just went straight higher. So this pullback, however, guys, continues here for Tesla.
Yeah, 375. Early in the week, it was the support. Yesterday, it was the resistance. Today, it's the over-under. And it's a Friday, so obviously 375 is going to have little gravity toward it. But I think you play this in either direction. I think we thought late in the day that there might have been a breakout through this price. But, the stock that broke out was Palantir. It wasn't DJT that tried to go. Tesla tried to go. It tried to break above this prior high. Now, technically, if you zoom it in, it's like 375.30 was the actual top. So you clear that out today, and I think you got some room to rally there on Tesla. But as long as it's underneath, I'm looking for fades. Both directions, I like that level. And this is the only chance to mention it because, look, Nikola, if it does any kind of a pop-up, I'm looking for a trend reversal short on Nikola going bankrupt. So, yeah, not that Tesla and Nikola are anything alike, but,
Yeah.
got to talk about it at some point. It seems poignant.
Yeah, though, you'll probably be in and out of that name. We'll see what happens with Nikola today. Probably lots of volume, so definitely worth looking at it. I just took out another piece right there on Palantir because it went to the 200 period moving average, which was 50s. So, yeah, next stop, 112. And that's where my next offer is. I want to say a big thank you and a big shout out to For Profit, gifted 5 memberships. So we say thank you for that one. And you are... awesome. So thank you so much for that, For Profit. And that's a great way to start the day, grabbing one of those from For Profit. So we want to thank you for that. All right. So yeah, for me, for Tesla, again, I'm looking short. But you know what? The thing is that it actually hasn't been doing anything here in the pre-market. And at one point, it was doing this, which is why I kind of changed my mind. And then all of a sudden, it did this. So, yeah, I don't like the stories right now, like missing out of China, missing out of Germany the other day as well. So I still think it's best to wait for this. It's only $3 away, $3.75. I think you go short into those levels there, and then when you break it, this little top is $3.76. Or bottom, sorry. I think that would be the top in this situation. So I would go short $3.75, give it $2 to $3.77. That would be my trade. And then if that comes in, again, you don't want to do it in the face of the market absolutely ripping. I mean, the jobs was a little lower today, so the market reacted to that, and now it's kind of flat again on it. So $3.75, that to me is a short there for Tesla. on the back of some bad delivery news, right? So that's about it. There's nothing. I still like Tesla, but I think that's a short. Down against the market today. As I said, there's where the number comes out. It washes to the downside, makes a move back up, and now is trying to get going again. So Tesla could easily give us that 375 short. And I think it's probably worth it being down 1%. Sorry, Chef Joe Ayal, but for now, today, I think that's good. But if it goes up to 375, then you're kind of winning if that happens from this level. So we'll wait to see what happens. But Tesla's on my mind a little bit here today. I'm probably going to put an order out and see if we get that fill light and then layer into it up to 377. All right, it's Pinterest time. And I know the guys on the desk were talking about how much they use this website.
Tons, apparently.
So much, almost daily. 21% right now. It's trying to get back to highs right now. Yeah, I mean, the forecast was higher than the midpoint.
Yeah,
I don't know if that means, anything, but higher than the midpoint range of what was expected.
Yeah. So revenue grew for Q4 18% quarter over quarter. That's above estimates. Global monthly active users, Brendo, 553 million. That surpasses the forecast there. It looks as if, Gen Z engagement increasing, as I mentioned at the top of the show. They also have a third-party ads deal with Google and Amazon, which is expanding their revenue base, obviously. Here comes the forecast. It was really good, except for EPS. So they expect Q1 revenue to be above estimates, 837 to 852. The street was looking for 832. Core earnings they're looking for about 155 to 170, beating the estimates of 140. But this is where it missed. Adjusted EPS of 56 pennies. For whatever reason, the street was looking for 65. They're saying it's due to tax-related adjustments. We'll have to see if it's a one-off line or what.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go all the way back to last summer here, I guess. 41 coming into play this morning. This is a daily chart, so we're well above this range that it's been in forever, guys.
Well, it filled in the gap. I mean, it's hard to hate on it when it's up 20% and it fills in that big, massive earnings dump gap from last year. And look, I think when a stock is up in this sort of range, the kind of thing I usually look for is it going to hold above the consolidation in the aftermarket? Like, you get the initial spike, but then it consolidated 38.5 to 40. I think that's a good zone to look for it to come out of. If it does do some gap filling, or let's call it what it is, profit taking, then that's the zone to look for the reversion. 40 looks like a great obvious area, but Pinterest is not, I don't know, I've seen this before on earnings with Pinterest, and oftentimes that initial spike at 9:30 is not one that I want to be involved in, especially on a Friday. So Pinterest, I'd probably wait a few minutes, and if I see it settling in that zone, look for it to come out to the upside. If it's just simply breaking out, then use something like VWAP, but it's underneath it and it's underneath the highs. So I'd be a little bit cautious with this and just wait for the open. Like NVIDIA, don't mind getting involved early. Apple don't mind getting involved early. Tesla. But Pinterest, you don't trade it usually only once or twice a year. So be very patient off this open. But if it holds 40, I'm only looking longs. That's impressive, and it's bigger than you expect.
All right, right now we'll do a little early dollar club winner right there now for Palantir, as we're long at 110.70. It's at 111.70. So, and again, posted up here on the sticky note that we liked 111 long. But again, it's just a fun trade. It's just the level held, which is nice. It did break down into the 60s where we were able to get long. So first L, second time a dub. We'll see what winds up happening right there. I don't know. I haven't really looked at Pinterest today. So, I was listening to what Neil was saying. I think some of those levels obviously matter. I always use the 200 period moving average, and that's down there at 39, which kind of makes sense with that kind of bounce level. So I think if you're going to try a log, I would just wait for 39, up 20%. Easy play, could retrace back down in. I mean, we've seen many names that had huge moves. Even Palantir that day, I think it was 23%. It fell back down to like 20%, back up again. And that 3 or 4% will matter, right? So you want to watch out for that. So I would think Pinterest does have the capabilities of falling back into this 39 level, and then I wouldn't hold it too much past 38. So that would be my trade there for Pinterest. But bigger fish to fry for me. We missed the. I know I hit the poll already. That's the amazing part about this is this poll actually is exactly accurate with Vegas and everything, because it's pretty much a pick 'em, and the Kansas City Chiefs are 1.5 point favorites right now. in Vegas. Why does it keep doing that?
Flicker?
Blinking like that, man. I think my screen, there's something wrong with my screen, actually. But anyways, we'll see if that continues on, because I noticed it flickers, but not like that. Anyways, Kansas City Chiefs or Philadelphia Eagles?
Chiefs.
I don't know. Yeah, I voted Eagles because I think the Eagles will win, but I actually think the Chiefs will win because the NFL is looking for a story again, as usual. Like, how does Tom Brady become is the greatest quarterback of all time? No one's ever going to catch his 7 Super Bowl rings and this and that. Tom Brady's out of the league, 2 years? And now we already have a guy chasing 4 or 5? I mean, it's getting to be...
Funny how that happens. Refs. But,
Anyways.
I think the Chiefs are going to win, but that's not where my heart is at. I wouldn't mind seeing them lose. Go Philly.
Yeah,
I don't think Philly will win.
Philly's not known to have the nicest fans or anything like that, but definitely passionate fans. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens at New Orleans if they showed up there. I think that'll be just a great time for sure. We are right now. Palantir is right at 112. This is where the players dwell, and we are offering right now 112 flat just to get out of half. So that will be half. We're out of 40% right now. Every piece out is 10%, so we're out of 40% right now with 4 outs, and it looks like it may want to continue to go higher. Remember, the imbalances for the NASDAQ are not out till 9:25. So right now, the only ones we have are on NASDAQ names. We're going to probably, we won't get to China. We'll talk about China, but Alibaba is probably the biggest name there. ELF is still there at 60 with 188,000 to sell. Back up to 66 now for ELF, so that's not too bad. And then there's Disney with a sell. Interesting. That name could not get going off earnings either. So, some interesting imbalances early. TDOC was a mover, actually, on news the last little bit. So maybe we can look at Teladoc there. Yeah, look at this. Whoops, all the way to the upside there for TDOC.
Yeah,
So
they made a deal.
that's another play. They got into something.
They made some small
And then-
acquisition yesterday, and
Here we go, man. I mean, this is what you want to do right here with Uber. I mean, if you're able to get reloaded into that one, what another drop we just had into this 64 area. And I mean, there it goes. We're just in the money now. Our average price is 67.85 or something like that. So we weren't in the money yesterday, but we are today, and we'll see if Uber can climb back upside. I like the name. I think it might be a sell if we can get into $80 or $82. I'm not sure I want to hold this, for long term, but we'll see what happens if Uber can get back up to $80. Definitely on our mind there with an early imbalance. Amazon's still not moving. I see Intel flashing a little bit, but it's just on a scanner. It's not doing anything. 5-minute move.
a firm's moving, though. I'll promise you that.
Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the desk here with 14 minutes until bell.
Yeah, I was trying to hold on to $70 here, but looks like it's given up. Still 12% though. Nice look here for Affirm right across the board. Another one here this morning that beat handily even the guidance to the upside.
And a good look, Brendo, for the quarter, for guidance, and some of the other new products that they have. We'll get to that in a sec. EPS, 23 pennies, beating the 15 the street was looking for. Revenue, $866 million. The street was looking for 807. So decided beats there. Gross merchandise volume, that reached $10.1 billion, topping estimates and growing 35% year over year. And here's the deal. Revenue grew faster than gross merchandise volume, which in their business is an important metric signaling strong unit economics. Now, for the guide, the Q3 revenue guiding 755 to 785. That's in line with expectations. The Affirm card, though, a new product that they have for about a year now, saw 136% year over year growth with 1.7 million active users, Brendo, and they still have that strong partnership with Amazon, Apple, and Shopify that's continuing to drive some of their revenue momentum.
Yeah, another chart looking really good if you go out to a higher time frame, making that turn back to the upside. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends over at Hive Digital Technologies. HIVE is the ticker on the NASDAQ. They're pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions in Bitcoin mining, a global leader in cutting-edge data center operations. With 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, Hive consistently tops industry in Bitcoin mine per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. Learn more. Follow them at Hive Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. Sign up for their newsletter.
So that's perfect timing because Bitcoin just made a rally to 100. 98.98 on Bitcoin. So IBIT here at the highs. Remember, it's roughly $57 on IBIT that you'll get the 100,000 breakout. And if we're going to do one of those today, it wasn't on the list because really it wasn't doing much, but I just like these levels. You saw the daily chart there, so there's been resistance the last couple of days at 56.5. If we can maybe bounce off that at the open before we get to a 100K break, I think IBIT or Bitcoin has to be on your radar. As far as the firm goes, great look, but I don't love the action in the pre-market. So if it's not, and I said 2 looks, either it's going to break the all-time high and we just go like ramping and it's one of those affirm squeeze days, or pull into the prior low, prior resistance, which would be like 67, 67.5, like in this range. So either reversion there or we're taking out 74 on a firm. Couple of big levels on the daily chart for them. But yeah, you got to watch. I think we have to watch out for Bitcoin now. It didn't do anything yesterday. It was a very dull, boring day for Bitcoin. But 100K, we could see that by 9:30. Only 10 minutes to go, and Bitcoin's on a rally.
All right. I was just mentioning here, I've been tweeting out, I tweeted out the link to the show. So if you guys ever want to watch the show, we both are doing that all day, all the time. Uber, we just talked about that breaking through 70. I really, really like that one. So Neil just talked about Affirm there. I want to look also, not that, they all have sort of their buy now, pay later schemes. But I mean, if Affirm's up all the way there, maybe this new finance thing catches again. And PayPal just had a huge move to the downside. And just wondering if, and I'll call up the e-signal charting here for us all as well. Looks like it's going to load a little bit quicker there. $74 for PayPal. I mean, that was didn't get there. And now it looks like we may have possibly bottomed in and around $78. So if PayPal can come in this area today, I think it's going to be worth a buy on PYPL for like a little bit of a different name there. Could lose it if Affirm comes back in. I think that's a good little level there. They're not the same company, so it's not like I love it. But if you're looking here on the 5-minute chart, you're also looking like you want to try to break a little bit here. So something to look at today ahead of that. I still really like, Robinhood and SoFi are going to be different names, but Robinhood's now $54. Like this name is like, it's destroying SoFi. It's making everybody look kind of foolish, but there it goes, just straight up there, man. We talked about this break when it happened, this $40, $44 break. I think we even had that on the show as Robinhood just keeps on going higher and higher, and SoFi here. I don't want to, I was going to say I was hoping it was above 15, but the two don't look the same. Obviously, as SoFi is way down from their earnings high. Like, you might think this is nothing, but like 18 down to 15 is not a great move, especially with what we've been seeing in the broader market. So, yeah, that really sucks for SoFi, for anybody holding that one. But yeah, good trading app again, SoFi. I don't know. Should have just bought Robinhood, you know what I mean, Randy? Robinhood, when you're sort of like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor and things like that. When that's your name, I don't know.
Men in tights.
Randy made so much money trading GameStop back in the day using the Robinhood app.
Obviously.
And Randy was so mad when they switched it off.
See the look you're getting right now? That's a good one.
You made a lot of money, man.
Yo, Fabian, clip that. Make sure you get a clip of that look. I want to.
Yeah, I want that. That should be right there live. That should be on. Like when they hit the Randy thing. Where's the Randy button, man?
No, but
we don't get that anymore.
I want the other look. That's the one right there.
That one. There's too many Randy. Oh, there. That's kind of the same look.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same look. He's got the T-shirt on and the toucan. Oh man, this guy's too much. Where's your skateboard, bro? All right. Thank you for the coffee, Randy, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I told him we need to do some green mugs. It's a bull market, and we actually don't even have any. There's red and there's yellow. It's like a McDonald's feel to it. We already talked about Affirm. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah.
Not a lot of volume behind this move, but worth noting here for Take-Two, they did come out and confirm that Grand Theft Auto going to be available by fall of this year. So that seemed to give it that extra little move this morning. We've given some of that back already this morning, so Fabian's a fan.
Very.
Clearly.
He's very excited, Fabian. I know. We've been talking about GTA 5 for a while, and all the memes and the jokes online about we got this before GTA 5. Guys, they didn't do that well. I'm talking about Take-Two Interactive. Their report was, guys, they missed on Q4 bookings. That's slightly below. Q3, that was the guide. Q3 bookings also missed. Adjusted EPS that beat about 72 pennies. The street was looking for 57. The industry I'm talking about the video game industry continues to suffer from layoffs, studio closures, project cancellations, and higher costs as well. This company did acquire another company called Zynga back in 2022. Was supposed to strengthen their mobile division. Some of the synergies haven't really manifested that way, but people are saying the integration is near completion and it could benefit them going in the future. But really, what kind of pushed this up and keeps the stock about 7% here in the pre-market was reaffirming that GTA 5 slated for release this fall 2025. We'll have to see about it because people were concerned about delays.
Yeah. It was, what, 2 or 3 times, Fabian? They delayed that?
Kind of.
Anyway. $200. This chart still looking great, guys. $200 coming into play here this morning.
It does look good. I know it's like, oh, trade an earnings name that's strong or trade a name that's up. Well, I know it's so, yeah, maybe it pulls back into 193, but Elf. I don't know, man. Like Elf is, I know it's down 25%. If you zoom out far enough on Elf, you'll be able to come up with like $56 as a key price level. I'm not going to bother with that exercise because I don't want to put you through it's at like 66. We need to go another $10 to the downside. But we've seen this story before where you have the massive move down, you're already trending up. Think Roblox yesterday is holding above VWAP. It'll obviously be short sell restricted, so it's pretty simple. Like I just want to see it do any kind of a revert, whether it's through 65 even, the pre-market low here is like 64 a third, or VWAP. I just want to see that little dip, hold the level, revert to the upside for an SSR bounce. It's going to be short sell restricted here on ELF. It's already done so much more volume than TTWO. I just don't like the volume in TTWO, so I really doubt that I'll trade that. Oh, we didn't really talk about NVIDIA much. We have 4 minutes to go. We have plenty of time. We'll talk about NVIDIA.
Yeah, we do have some time. I just want to show that the imbalances just came out right now, and there's not much happening at all. So today, pretty mixed buys and sells across the board. I don't really see any big cap name on here. We've already talked a little bit about Baba. There's there's NVIDIA with Broadcom, back-to-back. One's a sell, one's a buy. That's going to negate each other. Not much happening right now for NVIDIA or Broadcom. Tesla there. Like, these are so small. We've clicked on here before, and it's been millions of shares, if not hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Not 100,000. So there we go. It's just 10% of the day's volume on Tesla here so far, so it's not a big one. But Tesla sell, NVIDIA sell. I just saw Palantir was a buy. I don't know where it went there right now, but Palantir back up into 112 again. We're sitting there for VWAP. I actually think for this stock, we only have 3 minutes to go now. We're done with Take-Two. I mean, there's not much to talk about. I like Take-Two. I thought that ever since EA and some of the buyouts that have happened, Take-Two is right there. They just got to get their together with the game. GTA 6, I think, is going to be huge. Roblox obviously had lower daily active users. I don't know if that's probably a negative for Take-Two, but at the same time, it's a completely different beast. People have been waiting a long time for that game. So it will be bought for sure. I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like Grand Theft Auto is a game that you just pay one price for, right? It's not an in-game purchasing thing, I don't believe. But anyways, we'll get that all figured out. So right now, 113 looks like we want to go higher there through Palantir. That would be the top break that we're talking about. We are going to get out another piece right now. It's $1.30 in the money. We're about to get filled at 112. So when we get 112, then boom, we're out of half, and we'll wait to see what happens at 113. I like the punch long on this name, man. Palantir looks like it wants to go.
Absolutely looks like it wants to go, like it did yesterday, and it's going to continue to do. With 2 minutes to go here, Sean mentioned NVIDIA was on the locator, but no big size. Let me just cancel. We're not going to get 127s. But NVIDIA, we're looking continuation. Obviously, Amazon, CapEx spend going to 100, so they're increasing that significantly this year. Same thing as Google, so it's a trend up on NVIDIA. 130 is a big breakout level, but look at it already shows you 128 from the afternoon. So we can look for that as an initial dip on NVIDIA. We saw it do this before. It lost VWAP, and you had to wait for the 125 previous high. So I think same thing at the Friday. Remember, it's Friday, so options expiration as well. A lot of times you get a little extra volatility off of the open, and when that happens, there's nothing wrong with being a little bit patient for your entry. Like if you see it coming down into your price, no issues waiting for it to get to your price. Whether that's Pinterest, whether that's Palantir. For me, I like the 110. I didn't get it. Or NVIDIA, obviously. Elf as well. So lots to watch today. It's going to be a big one. And Nikola. I also have Nikola
Elf.
on the brain, but there's a lot to see. Tesla 375. Just trade the ones that get to the key prices instead of trying to force the action.
I wrote down, Fabian, I don't know if my earpiece is working. I will disconnect it and reconnect it in a second. Right now, I just want to show you that I did have ELF written down here as a 64 long. I really did think that we could have an early push down into that 64. Then we'll look for a rebound into $70, which we're starting. Okay, I can actually hear Benzinga in my ear, so I should be okay now. Yep, I just heard you, Fabian, so good. All right, so down into 64. I just want to look at that with ELF with less than 30 seconds to go. I'll put a little small bid down there, but we're not going to get run over on ELF. If it goes down and fills us, we'll just relax. We won't have that many shares, and we'll analyze it when that does happen. Palantir break 113 is what I'm looking at with only 20 seconds to go. And then NVIDIA dip buys as well. I think we sort of always have dip buys opportunities on
Hurry
NVIDIA.
day.
127.50 right now, but I need to change that as looks like 128 or so is a dip buy opportunity there. So all right, here we go.
And the bell brought to you by Worksport WKSP on the NASDAQ. Ring it in 2 and 1. Adara, let's go.
Okay, we are now open. Thank you, Adara, for that one. Welcome to the market. All right, so Palantir dancing around NVIDIA. Looks like it may want to take 130. The question is, what do we do at that 130 level? I've already answered that, and I think it's a long. So I think I'm going to be pushing long here. Just got to get it all set up because I don't have my stop order in yet. If that does break through 130 on NVIDIA, that's going to come in at some point today. Let's just see when. A dip buy right now into VWAP could be possible. I'm going to be patient. We wrote down on our list 127.50. So that's where I'm bidding right now on NVIDIA. Let's just calm down and wait to see what winds up happening. Palantir making another move again down into 110. So last time we had held into here, I am bidding near that 110 area to see if we can get along. There goes ELF right back into 64. So breathe. We'll breathe and see what happens now with ELF. As you can see, it's really starting to go a little bit up and down. There it is. Already $1 there on ELF. 64 long.
That was so fast on ELF. So Tesla is trying to get to 365, but Palantir just dipped into 110. NVIDIA is very close to break. Okay, maybe not as much anymore. Let's go to Palantir. NVIDIA was really close to breaking 129.5, and we do like the breakout on NVIDIA. Now it's coming into the downside. All right, we don't have to worry about that one as much. All right, Palantir just came into the 110, right back at 111. We'll see if we can rinse and repeat this one a few times off the 110 area. Just got to the halves. Stepped up the bid a little bit on Palantir. My goodness, Apple just broke out. It's about to go through yesterday's highs. That wasn't necessarily on the list. Here's 375 Tesla. We're waiting patiently for that. If we can get it, we like it. And there goes NVDA. Palantir right back to 112.
Worth $3 in the money everywhere, guys. We bought Palantir down, we bought 111. So did you. You got 110.50, so that's great. 111s, more reloads there on Palantir. As here we go. Nice upside play here coming for PLTR. I don't know what to do now. Now we're just way in the money now. 113.01 break, I guess, is what we're going to have to try to play with now and see if Palantir wants to continue that move to the upside. There goes Palantir, guys. $4 in total in the money. Look at that ELF call. What did we just talk about? Where was that long? Joe, honestly, Joe, I don't. There it goes, man. ELF right there off of that call. So far, so good there on ELF as it goes to the high side there. ELF Cosmetics, a nice little rebound play off of that level. Let's get some more out right here at 66. Boom, boom, boom. Nice little moves there as Tesla comes in right now for the short. We said we would just sit on this for a couple seconds. This is a very, very small position for us, but it is starting to go back up to the upside. Watch out for 377 break. We're going to get out of Tesla right now. ELF is really, really cruising for that, but watch out for Tesla, watch out for Palantir, watch out for everything. This has been so far so crazy little market here.
If you think there's volatility in this market, Tesla did the over-under at 375 right quick. The second it ran me over, I went over to Apple. I'm like, okay, do we get Apple on the bid at VWAP? Apple just dropped significantly off of the top here. All right, can't worry about that too much because NVIDIA is close to 130. So, NVIDIA and 130, here's our collision course. I don't ever like it if you fail a break, especially on a Friday really early. So tight stop, and if it fails to break, I want to get out probably at the quarter and wait for VWAP, which is at 129. So NVIDIA, we always like this off the open, but if we fail this breakout, I'm not holding this one all the way back into VWAP against me. I'll let it play itself out and see what can happen next there. But yeah, Tesla, I needed to show a little bit more of a curl, and we might get back into that one. All right, here comes NVDA, 15 cents away from the 130 break. Always strong, NVIDIA, every single day. NASDAQ going higher, NVIDIA going higher. I feel like it's a broken record, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is, and that's what makes it so lovely. Okay, so we're going to wait to see here. Alpha was obviously pretty huge there. We just got out at the 50-period moving average, out now at 40%. Let's see what winds up happening there. Palantir has been great. We just got another fill down there on Palantir. Let's see what it does, though. I'm with Neil, man. If we do break below this 110 area, then we might as well just wait and see what happens next, because no point in really loading into anything right now on Palantir, as it still is a little bit early. There goes NVIDIA, Neil, and Palantir as well. So we are long into NVIDIA right now as Palantir comes back in. And boy, oh boy, our short Tesla right now also trying to work itself out. So far, so good here, but we've got 4 big positions that we have to manage.
Yeah, NVIDIA is now broken. What do we get? 6? Actually divvied it up a little bit. Got a blended price on NVIDIA. So 05.99 is my actual price. Not that you guys can see that. Tesla's still getting a little bit frisky, but yeah, there's NVIDIA. It got to the quarters. That's about as far as we've seen on this one. If we lose the quarter on the other side, I'll jump out and look to get back in at a better price. Ideally, Tesla's still looking pretty solid. See, there it is. It goes quarter up, quarter down, wait for VWAP. Never want to get trapped in a failed breakout trade. That's the way I like to play it. Everyone can do differently, but 129, not holding a 130 break into that. We'll buy the dip if we can get something into 129. All right, Tesla's starting to look a little bit better on the curl.
Palantir.
We got in, we got out, got to that 37. Palantir is absolutely cruising, so there's no worries on that whatsoever. And Apple, the other one, looking pretty good off of VWAP. We got about Affirm. Affirm is very close to its breakout of the high. So Affirm is also going, but I want to get back over to NVIDIA. So Affirm is doing a power move, but I want to make sure I can get the dip here off the prior high in NVIDIA.
All right, we're gonna try Palantir. Tesla's now huge, guys. Tesla's now $1.50 in the money to the short side. Again, another play that we had talked about live right here on the air. So hopefully you're still in this one. We're trying to buy some 375s right now. I apologize to Chef Joe earlier. I was like, look, I'm gonna short this thing up here. But there's lots of wins for everybody. There's the nice long as well. Okay, NVIDIA's trying to come back. Palantir, there were little dip buy opportunities. Oh man, we are. I got to start trading and focusing on this a little bit more. So what's up, Adara?
Yeah, we do have MGOL on watch here, MGO Global. This is actually they got about 1.5 million share float. They're a penny stock, and I saw a 99% short float. So unclear if that is accurate or up to date, but significant short float and very small float for penny stock MGO. The most recent catalyst for this name is back on Tuesday when they announced that they have received SEC approval for a business combination registration with Heidmar. So MGO, penny stock on the move to the upside, guys. Back to you.
NVIDIA, get it. No, we'll see what winds up happening right there. But as Neil said, man, everybody will trade this name a little bit different. I was trying to buy more down there and just missed it. So here we go. Let's go, NVIDIA. We'll see what winds up happening on that one. Palantir, man,
Bye-bye,
it does.
Palantir.
I hope so. It already broke 13, so we got out there, and again,
VWAP.
Yeah, we missed the reload down there on Palantir, but here we go, man. This is an absolutely monstrous day right now. We are huge. Tesla dollar in the money. Palantir trying to go. NVIDIA trying to go. ELF going already. So let's go NVIDIA, man. I mean, this day could turn around if NVIDIA does not go. But Palantir right now, oh boy, Neil. We hit this with big amount of shares, and there it goes. It's Palantir. It is the belle of the ball one more time. Let's go. What a monster trade there for Palantir. Let's just hope it can do the same for NVIDIA.
Yeah, let's see NVIDIA go. I got back in at that 130, but Palantir is just the better trade right now. It bounces off 110. It bounces off VWAP. That's what you want for a bullish stock. Hold VWAP and then head higher. I think we get 115 today. Every even dollar matters. It's a Friday, so those $5 ranges, I think you just put that into perspective and try to respect them. So Palantir looking very strong. NVIDIA just does not want to hold. I took the break again at 130, missed by about 5 cents that reload in front of the 50s. Now we'll just look for the VWAP one more time here. So we'll see if we can't get this off of VWAP. It's not holding above that 130. We know it's a key resistance level. That's what matters. But we'll get back into it if we get a chance. Don't mind taking multiple swings. So Palantir looking still good. We'll hang on to that one. And Affirm, wow. Yeah, that one is now off the rails. 76, it's up 23% here on AFRM.
All right. Elf. I mean, we've just got out of half of that right now. It just came back into 66.15s or so. So we take that exact price out for Elf. That was one of the better trades for me because we had written down right here. And if you're following me at Trader TV Sean, you're going to find out that we already had Elf right there at $64 long. So there's $64 long right there. So there. We'll wind up seeing what is going on now. Okay, well, here's the drop down in Palantir, down through 13 again. It looks like it wants to fail up at those tops, which is why it's very important that you get out when those happen. And there goes Tesla as well, back up to the upside. So we said we wouldn't be in this name for a very long time. So a pretty flat trade there for Teslas. We average in, we average out, then we get out on that top break. So far, I don't know. It's been a flat day, believe it or not, so far. We'll have to wait for Palantir and NVIDIA, but for me right now, it's just a sort of Netflix and chill kind of day.
We have here OKLO and Watch. A lot of these nuclear names are really strong, but OKLO outperforming them in terms of volume and percentage move. Most recent catalyst in this was from yesterday morning when they announced that Chris Wright, who was on their board, is no longer going to be on their board because he's been confirmed as the Secretary of Energy. So Oklo announcing a board transition yesterday morning. No new catalyst for today, but we know a lot of traders are watching these nuclear names. OKLO also has a Sam Altman connection, and they have a 19% short float. Another name really strong this morning is Affirm off of earnings, AFRM here, getting a nice spike to the upside. Those rejecting 76 right now, guys. Back to you.
It is, and the other earnings name that was strong is Pinterest, which is, it's not doing a heck of a lot. But I said I'd sit this one out for the first little bit. It's been 10 minutes. It's still trending down, but look at it hold on to this pre-market low. That's what I like to see. There's 100,000 on the offer at 40. If it breaks this trend and gets above VWAP, I want to look for a reversion long over there on pins. NVIDIA is right back to where it started. Not where it started. Right back to 130 where it failed to break and just pulling back in. Now we wait in for the VWAP. If we're able to get that, fantastic. I mean, Palantir's still at 113, so that hasn't really changed too much. It's just, we can't seem to get into VWAP on NVIDIA. So I guess you got to buy it in the 60s or 70s. So we'll nibble in the 70s on NVIDIA instead of waiting for those 50s and see if we can't get a piece of that pie. PLTR, it did do a failed break of 113 a little bit and trying to pull back into VWAP again. So when it failed broke, took a little more out, going to look for the next available dip buy here on Palantir. If we get 110 again, I shouldn't still be in this trade. If we lose VWAP, I'm out and waiting for 110 on PLTR. Apple not doing much, and Affirm we need to get a piece of. But you got to wait for a dip. It's parabolic right now on Affirm. I'm not chasing any highs. Not going to do it.
All right, 113. All right, what else do we have written down on our watch list here today? We had the TQQs. Let's have a quick look to see what the NASDAQ is doing. Obviously, it's straight to the upside. So I'm just looking to see if we could trade the futures. Yesterday, the futures was an absolute, we had a 200 handle win yesterday into the close there for the futures where we were able to take advantage of this move right here, and we're able to buy that dip, and that was the sort of the same levels. We're still looking at 85 right now for the futures. No, it was this dip right there that we took. Right, it was 230. That's the close right there. This move down in there, and we were able to buy this into the close. So that was good. Yeah, I didn't actually realize we were that dramatic into the very close. But yeah, I was looking at sort of those levels again, 85. That's what we had tweeted out. It's been a long time coming for that one. Oh boy, Neil, here we go, man. Let's just keep on going. It's Palantir. It's to the freaking moon right now. And so just a quick talk. I mean, we're not going to be at our daily goal yet. These names have just been pretty back and forth and pretty violent there today. So we just need to see if this can settle itself down. I mean, a bunch more outs up here at 113 and change, 113.40, 113.50 as that's going up. ELF is really, this is, if we were still doing the trade of the day, I don't think there would be any questions about this one here with ELF. ELF right now, as listed, like imagine giving for free an area that you're looking to buy, and then imagine saying that you think this can go to 70, and then right now $4 in the money there on ELF. And look what happens to Palantir. This is why, again, we'll have different styles, but I'm getting them out when we get ripped up there and watching out for pullbacks into VWAP and whatnot. So more outs there as we continue to go to the upside. This is what I was saying. Like we were just had a good day up here, and then all of a sudden comes back in, and now we're flat again. So I mean, there's not much happening here.
NVIDIA is also, just before you go to
Yeah, I mean, I'm still on NVIDIA here, long at 130.
It's now the third time that it's done this right here at 130.20, where you're getting the break, it's trying to hold above 130, and it rejects. Come to the chart for a second. There you go. It rejects. So the breakouts haven't been good. The bottom of the range is about 60s. So dip buys off the 60s into VWAP and try to scalp it into the high. PLTR, as Sean mentioned, pulling back. So I took some out as well through the 113. And let's see if it can hold VWAP one more time in there. Apple's pulling back. Tesla's trying to pull back in here. We want to join Affirm, which is finally coming back into VWAP. 74 is the prior 52-week high on Affirm. Hold 74. And we look for longs over it. Tube 37, SoFi at a long level, I don't know. I actually haven't looked at SoFi. I know Sean had a gander at SoFi today. If it's a fintech name, it's probably Affirm for me on a day where it's up 22%. So unfortunately, I haven't looked at SoFi today.
All right, NVIDIA is absolutely trying to go. We're above that 130. Well, we were just, Neil already highlighted the areas. So my stop is breaking through 129, but I also want to make sure that I get some more bids out there. So 129, like 50s, maybe we'll take a little bit more if it does get into that area, and then trying to buy it off of VWAP again. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Elf Cosmetics still at, wow, there it is, man. We talked about getting these levels. We just got a 68 flat, a 67.40. Again, monster trade there, right off the sticky note. Go find me, go follow, do all of that. What else you guys want to look at? Uber, Big Bear AI. I mean, Uber 72. Wow, Uber right there. What's up, Ozan? This is a big, big game changer. Right here, as well as Uber up to $72. Man, we've been pounding the pavement on this one since 60 and change. What's up, Adara?
There's a couple things to mention here. So first, a couple earnings names here on watch. CLSK, CleanSpark, beautiful little bull flag here after their report after the bell yesterday. And then in addition to CleanSpark, keep an eye on Cloudflare and ET. This is another one here that's been pretty strong on day one earnings, actually trying to take yesterday's post-market high. Also, right before we did this throw, I saw another post from Citron Research. Citron Research had a post basically pumping TDOC yesterday. Teladoc, now they're saying after the Teladoc post, they want to one-up it with DOCX because there's, DOCS here, Doximity, saying that, quote, it's about digital tools fueling the telemedicine boom. DOCX, certainly on watch today, great catalyst here and push up for Doximity, so keep an eye on that one. And also CLSK and NET, guys. Back to you.
So we're
futures.
we're right back into VWAP again on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA again tries to bounce off those lows. Let's see if it can scalp back into the high. I'll show you guys what's happening with Apple, man. Like Apple's actually holding out on VWAP. This maybe should be a part of the plan. It looks so strong. NVIDIA looking pretty good. And look, PINS is disappointing. It's not doing anything. It's just sliding to the downside. No trend break yet. And Affirm looking real strong. It actually just pulled back almost into VWAP here. So here comes that 74. We bounce off 74. We're looking very, very spicy. Come on, Palantir. We want to see that 114 on Palantir. But next trade, if we can hold 74 on Affirm, I don't want to catch a falling knife. If we get a little reversion of this move down, long off VWAP on Affirm. Strong name today. That's my fintech that I'd rather be in.
All right. I just need to breathe because we just need to calm down and make sure that we watch what's happening right now. Which way is Tesla going? Okay, Tesla's upside. Look, let's just hope this goes. We have shares in Palantir. We have shares in NVIDIA. And we're also $5 in the money on ELF right now. Oh, my. This ELF trade, I mean, I don't know. This is like we just said here, play into $70 on ELF. 64 support, looking for an early push down and hold for a rebound to 70 for ELF. Neil, man. I mean, that is when dreams come true. When you write it down and it happens, that's a special trade right there. So I hope some of you have that for sure as ELF right there, day maker, week maker, month maker. If you have that trade for sure, depending on obviously all size dependent. But if you liked it, you liked it. I don't know. All right, so. NVIDIA, yeah, having problems again. So, like I said, this day it can either be real big or right now flat. So we were just at about 60 or so percent of our day, and now we're basically back to flat. So that's how sensitive it is to these three positions that I have. And you know, I don't know if this is going to go. We're still going to stop out if this breaks 129. I'm not, you know, this is where I want to buy it. We just did it at 50. We talked about that. We just gave you 50-cent winner right there, whether or not you want to take that or not. But for me, I'm going to wait and see if it can make something special happen. Just like that ELF trade, if you don't believe in yourself, then you can't have these trades. So there goes ELF right now. So let's believe that NVIDIA can try to go and Palantir can go here into Friday. The futures are at 22,000. We could break this level and then it's off to the races, right? I mean, we talked about what we were thinking here. So let's just see if we can win. I mean, that rate now on the Qs is 534. You're $3 away from that level. And you know, okay, now ELF is really, like the possibilities here are endless in this market to the long side if you break that level. So let's wait to see. But wow, this trade is the trade here, Neil.
Yeah, great one over there on ELF. Here comes, look, Pinterest is finally at that 40 level. It just hit the 100,000 order that's been sitting there at the 40. It actually didn't break it, but we did get through. There we go. Now it's through. So first time today, we're going to get into pins. I was looking mean reversion on Pinterest. So this is going to be the downward trend. I mean, you guys can figure out the trend line. So if we can break above VWAP, we're going to try to play this into the high of the day, at least for now, on pins. But that was a big size order they were able to get through just there. So it's going to get my stop order, and then we're locked and loaded to go. Unfortunately for a firm, you don't have to catch a falling knife. Like, it does not hold VWAP. There was no buyers in there, so I'm not going to sit there fighting the stock. If it can curl here, don't mind getting into the long. But I said, don't want to fight the stock. NVIDIA still bouncing, not VWAP, but like 129.5, 129.6 has been a good bounce spot here for NVIDIA. It just needs to take out the top. Just continue to consolidate and go. And Tesla, yeah, like there is that 75. And then look at it hold and breaking higher. Tesla is absolutely a freight train to the upside now. And I don't think you want to look anything but the longs on Tesla. If you can get VWAP, we'll see. But I'm kind of skeptical that that's even going to be in the cards at this point. So like prior high would make sense. 377 on any kind of a dip. Wouldn't mind trying to get into that on TSLA. Nikola is the other stock that I was going to short a pop. Not much of a pop there at the open. Now underneath VWAP. If it does any kind of a push up, I'd probably look for a fade on Nikola still. Palantir is a beast.
Oh man, I'm really glad that we had just sort of calmed down there and watched out for this Palantir trade right now, because there it goes, man, just $1 in the money. ELF is now $7 in the money there, breaking above $70 right now. 64 bottom. Joe, I wonder what this would have been on an options trade. Like, honestly, this is 10% in the money right now on ELF off of that bottom. So huge, 10% in. Like, what a trade right there, 10%. Like, anyways, I'll make more. Well, right now, ELF is number one, but number two, actually, scratch that. Number one right now is Palantir right now. So we'll rest on it. We're having a decent day, as we had mentioned already now, that these names have started to go back upside. This day could get real special if and when this name ever goes. If NVIDIA ever goes, then this is going to be a ridiculous opportunity there. There's a big size there at 15, as you might have just saw. So we'll wait to see that get through. And then once that does, then it's up and away. Hopefully meme craziness time for NVIDIA. I don't have any more offers until 130.50s. So hopefully that will come in. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, the number one P&L name today is going to be easily Palantir now as it continues to go higher. And we still got on a decent piece of this trade. So there goes another piece out right there at 113.90 or 80s, whatever that fill was. I'll tell you exactly, 113.89, another piece out right there. So again, just an advantage of the way that I trade, taking a little bit more, scaling them out on the way up. And it's really, really made a difference in my trading over the last little while. And I think that, you know, we want to thank everybody for hitting the like and the subscribe. And I'm going to check right now how many people are actually watching. I've been tweeting all morning, so you guys go over there and see that kind of content if you want as well. Over 1,000 likes right now and almost 11,000 watching. So, hey, man, we say thank you so much. Right now, Neil, we can talk about that. We're going to be 3 for 4, knowing that Tesla, by the way, let's get that to 2,000. Like, we haven't had 2,000 in a minute. Let's do it on a Friday right now. Let's get 2,000 likes. If we can do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. We are down a cup of tea, though, on Tesla. Tesla was something that we tried the short. It was printing, man. We could have got them all out right there. That would have been pretty good. But at the end of the day, that was a great support level there on Tesla. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a huge day, man. NVIDIA, ELF, Palantir, you can't ask for much more. How are you doing over on your side?
No, you can't ask. Well, Palantir is just the gift that keeps on giving. Nothing good about Tesla for me. We'll see what happens with NVIDIA, but Palantir is just an absolute rocket ship. I think and someone said this yesterday, like, why punch highs on Palantir and all that kind of stuff? Because it just keeps on going up. That's just the easy answer. The stock keeps on going up, so you play the longs, you buy the dips. There's a lot of crazy wicks in here. Some of these are not real, guys, if you're watching this. It's been holding VWAP, so we actually haven't seen it. I haven't seen it actually get to VWAP. But there's a bunch of dark pool wicks on the chart.
Oh, go NVIDIA.
But it's absolutely fine. There's NVIDIA.
Go.
High of day on NVIDIA as we're now climbing. NASDAQ going up. If you like the long, then you should be sticking with it. There's not much else to say. Strength pretty much everywhere. I want to get into Tesla at some point, but we're getting a little bit of a pullback off 114 on Palantir, so I'm looking for the dip off VWAP one more time here before it probably makes that run at 115. I want to make sure we can get another ad here. Oh, Apple.
Look at that.
Apple at 133, sorry, 233 and bouncing.
Let's go, Apple, man. This is
Apple here.
Go ahead, yeah.
Like, look at this little trend down. There's your hold. I have it up on another chart. Break trend, hold 23 or 33, and I'm going to go long right in here on Apple if it mean reverse. Apple's actually red on the day, but I'd love to see it go red to green right here, and then you can scalp it into the highs.
Look, we want to thank everybody there. Well, we were just at 1,000 likes. We just add 60% to that, immediately up to 1.6K. So thank you so much for that, man. You guys are the best. Really running up that like button. So thank you. Let's still get, I mean, we're still not there, but we're getting closer and closer as we hold 11,000 viewers. Share, like, subscribe, all of that into the chat. So yeah, NVIDIA goes and then does not go. So, I mean, right back into the highs. We'll take something out as it rips back up above 130 and then whoops, fail right back down again in there now. So yeah, man, Palantir just keeps on going and we just keep on using more shares. So here it goes. We're still at that 114. We've got multiple outs up here at 114. So I'm going to take one more right now, just in case this pullback does happen. We are bouncing off of the TQs right now, off the NASDAQ at 22,000. So it's definitely not going the way that I had hoped it would go, the NASDAQ. This stock, of course, is and carrying the day. But right now, here's a pullback. We talked about what we want to do on NVIDIA. This is why we get out. Like if you can't, and again, like I said, if you're not trading many shares or something like that, then whatever. But if you have the ability to get out and you see tops like this, I think that's the play. You often will miss moves when you get out too early. That's obvious. But at the same time, bang, when you don't get out, and there goes Palantir right now, breaking through 14 and still undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Palantir upside right now, 114.25s. Are we even, what world are we even living in right now as this name just keeps on going?
Alex Karp's world.
Yes, man, and we are all living in it. There's an out right there at 114.20. I don't know what your plan of action is there.
Well, I was about to put my trail in. I got to follow the rule. It just wicked. It said if it got to 115, that's target. It broke 14, got to the half, and broke the trend. Man, I got a lot of dark pool wicks. I don't know if I can clean that up. But we just broke back under. That's an out for me on the topping tail and wait back in for VWAP. So I'm going to stick to my plan of action. We got another reload on NVIDIA, but that's exactly at the same price. What up, Randy? Chilling. There he is in the beanie. The Palantir has just been giving you the goods. It did this yesterday, and it had only one pullback right about 10 o'clock. So if it does the same thing here, obviously it's a stronger move yesterday than it is today at the open, but looking for that VWAP potential at 112.5 to get back into Palantir. And again, just whatever your trading style is, the idea of getting out is to get back in on trend. Yesterday, it wasn't giving you VWAP. Like you can, the only touch of VWAP on Palantir yesterday was actually at 9:30, if you can believe that. I'm gonna see if we can get back into this one for the third time here on PLTR. NVIDIA is pulling back, trying to hold on to VWAP and that sort of thing. We've been taking profit out in front, but it is not holding on. Apple didn't bounce off VWAP. That actually carried back under through as well. So NVIDIA is the one that needs to go. Apple, thankfully, we needed it to break up, so we didn't bother taking the trade. Was only ever taking it on a reversion bounce, and it lost the bid. NVIDIA holding, though. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, NVIDIA, nice little pullback in there again. I'll put on a little bit down here. I wasn't really going to, but it does seem like it wants to hold. So we'll just put on one more piece there. I'm still a little bit concerned about VWAP. We do have Michigan Consumer Confident Sentiment coming out right now at 11 at 10 o'clock. So we're going to watch out for that. If we do dip below this 129, then we're going to get out of NVIDIA, and it'll be a losing trade if that winds up happening. So yeah, we'll wait to see if that's the case, but looking to get a little bit more down there at 129.30, basically where VWAP is, a little bit underneath that, and then we will hold for the big one. All right, Elf, we only have right now, you could see there's 9 outs. So 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, leaving us with, you guessed it, 10%. So, a big green day for sure, and we'll see if we can keep it that way. But again, a lot of that is resting right over here to see what winds up happening with NVIDIA. You mentioned Apple. Apple's been an absolute beast for a while there.
Just lost a bit.
I haven't looked at a firm or pins. I know Neil's been over there a little bit. Baba 107. I mean, the last time I sold this thing was at 117 and did not buy back in. Excited to do that again if we get that opportunity. On Alibaba was Cecile, I believe, and Quen and all that kind of stuff there for their AI. As you can see, a nice little move to the upside here for Alibaba. That trade was an easy one. Remember what I said about how this day is, how we've been trading lately? Is that some of the plays have really continued. So like you get that. Yep, let's go over to Adair in 5 seconds now with numbers.
We are getting in here at these University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment well lower than expected, 67.8 versus 71.8 expected. So 3 points below expectations here for you, Mich Consumer Sentiment. And then also the one thing we really don't want to, higher than expected, what 5-year and 1-year inflation expectations are well above estimates for 1-year inflation expectation. We're seeing 4.3% versus 3.3 expected. That is well above estimates. Same with the 5-year, 3.3 versus 3.2 expected. So basically, we're seeing higher inflation than we were looking for here. Then again, with that, plus the lower than expected UMich sentiment number, not a great look here. We did also get wholesale sales month over month, 1% here versus 0.5% expected. So those are the economic numbers here. Quite a tumble here for the NASDAQ on those results. Again, lower than expected sentiment, never a good look here. Amazon on watch today with its earnings, AMZN. Lots of earnings placed today. We have Affirm as well. And then also here, Take-Two Interactive, this one continuing strong despite that drop in the market. Their numbers were actually pretty mixed, but they did say they're expecting to release long-awaited Grand Theft Auto 6 later this year. So that's a good look. Back to you.
All right, here we go, guys. Everything just fell right into our damn lap right there. The TQs just came a huge trade right now, Neil. We go right to PL number 1 on the TQQs there. It fell right into our lap. What a trade there on that. But we did get dripped down into 129 and got punched out of our NVIDIA. We did rebuy it back and took more out on the upside. So not a great number there for sure, but great opportunity to trade. It's funny that we were long NVIDIA into that number and we come back and we're actually up more now than we were then. So not bad as we take 50 handles and more, sitting there at 85 on the futures. Oh boy, that was quite the ride there. Were you able to survive?
So I got out of NVIDIA at VWAP, back in at 20s, and then some out in front of VWAP again, which I'm going to take another leg if we can. I did tick in for the first time into Nikola. That probably had nothing to do with the number.
No.
But no, it definitely had nothing to do with the number.
Here it comes right back again.
I was sitting right on the bid of Palantir here and still haven't been picked up. I actually stepped it up a little bit on Palantir, but Palantir just came into VWAP for the first time. Like everything is dropping. I can tell you stocks that shouldn't have even lost the bid, when that number came out, the algos pulled bids all over the place. So a lot of times that's going to happen. It was distinctly different from everything else. I mean, Palantir is just... Like, look at it already trying to bounce here off of VWAP. It's just so much stronger than everything else I'm watching. Nvidia bleeding back into the 129. Going to try to stay focused on these two. But if we lose 129, I got to jump out of it. If you lose VWAP, that's one thing. Oh my goodness, the Apple chart.
What? Okay.
Yeah, Apple. I have the charts I have up are Pinterest, Nikola, Nvidia, Apple, and Palantir. And Apple just lost a bit in a big way. Obviously, I'm trying to hold on to 129.
What is that?
But Apple, yeah, that's the chart on Apple that just kind of, whoa, when I looked at it. That's not going to be good. I don't think we're going to. This needs to bounce. 230. Well, I like 230. I don't know about 231, but this looks like a good buying opportunity here on Apple. Probably something else too is going, but.
Yeah, look, let's come over here and have a look to see
Palantir.
if you want to see what's
Nice.
going. I mean, right now we've got, Palantir, we've got NVIDIA, and boy, oh boy, we're going to be close to the highest spot we've been at all day. We did drop out of the futures and just got back in, so it's bouncing around this 85. I'm giving this now to the low of 84.85. So if we break below this new low now, we are gone. We'll put the money in our pocket and run away on these futures because there it goes. That number not great there. So we hit it and quit it. We did try one more time there on the futures. Doesn't look like it wants to go, but we will try. I think I want to try again. So that number that just came through for us at 10 o'clock sent the market to the downside. There it is. Wholesale inventories -5 versus -5. That wasn't the number that went to the downside. There was Michigan. I don't actually have it on here. There it is right there. Michigan sentiment 67 versus 71. So that was the downside push there. So again, not too much confidence it seems like over there in lovely Michigan, I guess.
Sure.
But right now we'll see. The futures are definitely giving it up right now as the shorts coming in. The NASDAQ pushing off of 22,000 into that number. So we're getting close to a buy zone, I would think. But wow, all right, 21.8 maybe just broke. So it's only NVIDIA holding up. Palantir making that push back in. My stop is...
I'd argue.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say Palantir's holding up better than Nvidia. Palantir's holding Nvidia's holding 129, but Palantir looks objectively better to me. That said, if you lose the trend, you got to be able to get out at some point. I mean, everything else is bleeding here. I just look back over, look at Tesla. Tesla just got to 372. That's heading precipitously to the downside. You've lost the bid on the Qs. We're right back, although you are into a potential support area. So you calm down. This is the morning level, and then overnight from yesterday at 21.7. If we hold that, then strong stocks okay. Weak stocks don't want any part of. If we lose it, I mean, are you going to look at a chart of AMD and wonder why not? Down 2%. We like AMD short. We should be in it. And the one short I'm in doesn't care about the market because they're going bankrupt. I'm just short VWAP on Nikola. I'll just play this into the low of the day. It's the low is 42 cents on this, just to go over it. The low in the aftermarket when the news announced was 40 cents. So play this 45 to 40 is the plan of action. If it breaks VWAP, I get out. Try to keep it relatively binary here on that. So only two longs left holding, and Palantir is doing a better job. I scalped out some into the $0.50. If we can put in a couple of, here we go.
We are him. Let's go. Let's go, Neil. Let's go, Neil. Oh, yeah. Wow. This is the volatility that exactly we're looking for every single day. 57 cents now on Palantir. As Neil was waxing, we were trading as well. Nice move upside there for Palantir. And oh boy, we got it on the futures again. We are cruising. Highest spot we've been at all day. Look at that rebound on the futures right now. 70 handles in the money off that bottom. So here we go, man. Neil, we're going to go 5 for 5 today. 4 for 5 because Tesla's going to be an L, but oh boy, Palantir and NVIDIA right now, we're $7 in the money on these trades. So let's go to the upside right now. There's 129.75 just printed for NVIDIA. Oh boy, this has been quite a move. We like Michigan, man. Good. Go everybody, man. Go Lions, go Tigers and Bears. Oh my. Go NVIDIA upside right now. Go Q's upside. And this could be one of those special days, especially if we keep going this way, man. Wow, what a monster, Neil. Great trading over there. And oh boy, this is going to be one of those days one more time. We just got to make sure that we get out of winning trades. What's up, Adara?
I just want to clarify here with regards to those Michigan numbers. So the University of Michigan sentiment was not great. It was 67.8 versus 71.8. But the bigger issue seems to be with these inflation estimates, because we know there is an inflation element to the University of Michigan numbers. So the 5-year inflation expectations, a little bit above estimates, 3.3 versus 3.2 expected, but the 1 year significantly above estimates, 4.3%. versus 3.3 expected. So that means people are seeing that inflation will be at 4.3% in a year. So that is super significant. And I just want to clarify, that seems to be the element that is pushing us to the downside more so than the University of Michigan sentiment number, guys.
Thank you very much, Dara. Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate you for sure. NVIDIA just, okay, so I'm out of NVIDIA. Where we bought it, where we were buying it all morning is where I sold it. So we were buying it all morning at 129.70. It just bounced off 129, and the sellers came in where the buyers were before. So it's
Let's go.
That's sort of that simple thing with technical trading. If we can break back above, we buy it in the same range. Otherwise, it's 29 or it's 29.70. Palantir is just distinctly different at this point.
Oh, boy.
No questions asked about it. Now back a buck, right into the 114 again for PLTR, and that's sort of the thing. Like this one was just better as it held those higher lows all the way through. Holds a low, holds VWAP, holds VWAP. We're going to get back into that 115, it looks like almost certainly. And Tesla's trying to make a move here, but look at the difference. Tesla can't even seem to get off the schneid. I think we got to be back to shorting Tesla. It's underneath 375, which was my over-under. As long as it doesn't get back above VWAP, Tesla's going to turn into a short again for me.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this is what, you want to stay with the same names. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, like, look at this dip buy in Palantir, what just happened. So what's up, Ozan? What's up, Adam DeLuce? What's up, everybody out there? Look, man, not everyone's going to be the same. We talk about that, right? Like, I'm going to be green today. There's obviously traders that aren't going to be green. Traders are going to have way more money than me. Traders are going to lose way more than me. It's not a thing. It's just stay with what you're doing. Make sure you're trading your plan. Make sure that, this is something that you're comfortable doing. We're comfortable doing this. And what we've been able to do is increase, because of the streak that we've been on, we've been able to increase share sizes. And that's been really huge, right? Like if at the end of the day you're looking down and you're like, I can't find any winning trades, lower your share sizes. We've been doing pretty good, and we've been getting in and out too, right? Like that's the other thing about all of this. We actually wind up losing there on the TQs, but then we just let sort of things settle down a bit, take that bottom take, and then we just went over to the futures and just found this level right here. And we just let's try it, see if there's a bounce. If we lose, we lose. Like I was saying, this trading is not going to be the easiest game. It's not going to be for everybody anyways. But when you find something that you like and you're passionate about, that is ultimately, we both have kids. That's what we want our kids. I don't care what it is. I want them to do something that they are passionate about. And I mean, you're not going to find a more passionate trader than this guy right here. And honestly, we're happy to do it here for you guys live every single day. Just keep coming back, keep hitting that like, keep hitting that subscribe. I mean, I asked for 2,000 likes right now, and we got 1.8. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're holding 11,000. Let's get that up there. Did you just crush that number there or what? Let's get the likes going. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's always a special day at Trader TV Live, and even more of one that we get to share it with all of you. And then, hey, man, whenever it's a green day, it's a good day. So today's a green day, and we'll wait to see what winds up happening now. But Palantir fading off, some of these names now fading off. That's why we're getting out at these top sides.
Yeah, and that's exactly to that point. NVIDIA just lost a bit again, so we got out. Everyone has their own style, obviously, but I like support and resistance, so support to resistance, as simple as that. The last time Palantir did this wick, I got out, and we got 80s last time. When it lost to 14 in here, we actually got 64s. So Palantir really starting to sell off. Man, Tesla probably should have been, it is what it is. I'm not gonna harp on it. It didn't get anywhere near the price we were looking for. The market was bouncing, and Tesla was trying to go. We were looking to see if we can get 74, 74.5 for the short side of the trade. Yeah. But I'll just I'm out of the longs now. I think at this point, the only one that I still like to the long would be Palantir if it can hold now 112.5. I don't even know if it's going to be 113. If it can stay on trend, I don't mind jumping back into that. But everything else is looking like an absolute bleed to this point. It always leads me back to AMD, but AMD is not really
broke.
I'm not punching short the low of the day on AMD.
Guys, I just want to say, people are saying, all right, so I know Neil's saying everyone do their own style. You just have to do your own style. That's what it is. Like, people are saying, oh, I'm getting killed on that NVIDIA trade. I just got out. We both are out of NVIDIA. So you got to, like, judge your own style. And if you want to ask us if we're green or red, we'll tell you. Look at the TQs. Like, we just got absolutely smoked on the market down to this downside. So look at this. Completely see. So there it goes, man. We were just riding high, and now we ain't anymore on this position, right? So falls right back in, and this could get destroyed here. So again, trade your book, right? Like, here we go to the upside. I'm getting stopped out if this breaks $84 right now. So let's wait to see what winds up happening to the downside. On that note about everyone has their own style, tonight we're releasing another video, and we haven't done one of these in a while. It's going to be a really highly edited video. It's on, there goes TQQs. It's on RSI. So check that out tonight as we will be releasing that ASAP.
You guys asked for more of these. You asked about the VWAP. I said, go check our channel out. We have the old one in RSI. And if you have suggestions for what you guys want us to talk about, bounce locator, I don't care what it is, man. We're here for you. I just got to go to some super chats in here. I just got flat. I'm not punching shorts at these lows. I don't want to do it. So we're kind of waiting for a little bit of a pop here. But Nick W., thank you so much. Thanks for what you guys do. Learned a ton from this program. Tesla was such a good mean reversion trade today. It absolutely was. And shout out to AO Luis. Calls printing on HIMS and Tempest AI. Go Birds. And that's sort of the thing. There's a million things moving today. You know, if Tempest is your jam, trade Tempest. I haven't looked at the stock today. HIMS, I haven't looked at that either, so I can't tell you what either one of them is doing. But you got to stay in the pocket. Obviously, Palantir did not bounce off of VWAP. I'm not telling you guys anything you can't see. So the only level to wait for is, we like that 110. Maybe it can hold a bid there. I don't know if we're going to get great pops. I'm just looking for something that I can still fade that's at a reasonable entry point. Firm doesn't necessarily look like much of anything. If anything, a firm holding one. A firm's looking decent. With the market bleeding, and this hasn't broken its low, this could do a mean revert back to the upside. So that's a trade I'll look at. And Nikola, it doesn't matter what the market is doing. It's the only thing I'm still in. It's just a short off of VWAP here. Resistance is sitting at about 46.5 cents and just playing into the low. That said, hard stop if it breaks VWAP. We've seen this story before. I have seen stocks that are going bankrupt and they get these relief rallies, and you don't want to get caught in one of them if they get one of those spikes. So always trade it with a stop.
Yeah, we just tried Palantir again, trying to get it through 112 again because I just thought it could bounce off VWAP. It didn't, so we got out pretty much immediately on that one. We are back into the futures, though. I'm going to try it again and just not use as many shares and see about that Palantir into 111.75 or so. See if we can get a little bit of a better fill on this and play the dip. Whoops. Oh my God, I just put in the wrong price order. Okay, down into here, into 111.80s or so, and then get out if we break 111.74s to the downside there on Palantir, and we'll see about that one on the reboot. Okay, well, we're back positive now, and this is what happens when you trade. We are now back positive on the TQQs as we did buy that dip again. It does break our levels. We have to. Oh, Palantir is going to break again, by the way. Palantir is done. I don't think we should. Like, the futures reload has worked geniusly, it looks like, but this Palantir reload will not. As there it goes through, almost through. We're going to break through 75. If it does go there, it looks like it's going to have too much pressure. There it goes on it. So Palantir for sure not worth the rebound. Like, the futures are, but Palantir right now doesn't look like it. There's a nice little play there.
Whoa.
Yeah, we need to find a strong stock, not trying to chase one.
No, it's not Google.
It's not Google. Okay. NVIDIA bounced off 128 pre-market lows. That could be a trade. Excuse me. But right now, let's just wait for Palantir until 110. We initially wrote down 111 long. It is coming back into that level. We held that one time. We could try it here, but yeah, Palantir definitely getting taken out. And sometimes when you have these stocks that have performed so well over the last little while, this is where they'll look to start hitting and taking some profit. So
Meta.
Palantir's still positive on the day, actually. So there's that. Meta's
just none of these Mag 7 look that great, but Meta looks the least bad of all of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hope that makes sense to everybody. So it actually held the low and is reverting it right now. That looks pretty good. Might have missed that trade. We'll let it settle down. Like, I'm looking at NVIDIA. Apple's down 1%, down at 230. Tesla's down a point, trying to hold. Meta's still green and trying to hold green. If the market can bounce, it looks pretty solid. The other thing is, you know what? Sometimes I said I wouldn't want to short bottoms.
We just got to go short.
Might have to change that plan of action on AMD. You're not getting into the short on AMD unless you just kind of hit it. The low is 106.55 from Wednesday on Advanced Money Destroyer. I almost called it by its real name, but I don't think it deserves that today. Let's go to Adara. I'm probably taking the low of the week break on AMD. That's about 70 cents from now. Adara? And
This part of the show is in fact brought to you by WorkSport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport is a US-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Take a look at this chart here, guys. Check out WorkSport WKSP. You can find that on the NASDAQ. And while we're here looking at charts, beware of Amazon as well. Of course, they are down after earnings, but I'm also seeing some comments here. Apparently, a German court found Amazon responsible for violating a Nokia streaming patent. So Amazon apparently violating a Nokia patent, according to a court spokesperson. Nokia not really moving much on this, but just be aware of that story coming through right now, guys. Back to you.
All right, I mean, we'll celebrate a little bit because we do have a $1 winner right now, bang, on Palantir as it just went up. I mean, I don't know what just happened there. The market seemed to want to catch a bid, so we will seem to take Palantir to the high side. We're now out of half. We just reloaded that at 111.50. It wasn't a huge position. We lost the bid there at 112, which kind of sucked, but that's why we talk about grabbing that profit. Like, when you're long at 112.50 and it goes up to 114, that's $1.50. You have to take profit there. I don't, you know, it doesn't really matter, especially when it goes back into the high of the day, because then you don't know what's creeping, and then boom, right there to that downside. So, you know, make sure you do get out. The P&L number one for me today will be still the TQs, although it's actually still ELF. Actually, ELF is sort of, okay, well, now the TQs are going, but look at what ELF is doing, guys. This shelf has not broken yet, up to $70. We still do have 10% of that trade as it's going, but most of my energy right now should be over here because this is where we have the biggest position now. Was the reload a little bit here, so the only time we lost on this was that one dip, but we were able to make it back. Then it came in again. Now we're trying to get back upside there on the TQQs. And then Palantir, we just took $1 there, right up to VWAP again. If you're long on those names and it goes to VWAP, you got to take it. So, I mean, right there, into an aggressive name, I like it. Meta, $717 for Meta. Wow.
By the way, Uber just made another fresh high of the day. It's up
yeah.
5. Got to acknowledge it. Shout out to Gorev in the chat and everybody that's yelling about Uber. So I'm going to get to Meta in a quick second, but we got to acknowledge in the market that is bouncing off the lows, this is a strong stock breaking through the highs. That 70 break was, technically it didn't break 70 until, it actually broke 70 in the pre-market, so it wasn't really a 70 breakout, but who cares? It's glorious if you got it. I was early on this break, I was late on this break. Really, when it's a mean reversion, I should be in here. My price, which should be at 16, is going to be like 16.7. So it's a little off by $1. But if we break the prior bar low, I want to be out of Meta, and I still want to short AMD. So this is actually AMD's popping right now. So if AMD can pop back in maybe 108, if it gets to VWAP, I think that's distinctly different. But I still want any shallow pop, like this kind of a candle on AMD, and I would want to go short. So that'll be the plan of action on Advanced Micro Devices. And I cannot take credit for that joke. Advanced Money Destroyer was Sean. I just like repeating it every chance that we get. Nicola's doing its own thing. It's trying to get back into the low of the day. Remember, I'm out of this if it gets to 40 cents. That's the play. That was yesterday's low. So we'll continue to play into that. Apple's the one that looks the worst here, everybody.
The market could still fade.
There isn't even a green. Like, this is the bigger move down of all the Mag 7. Maybe not percentage-wise, but Apple's looks the worst. If Apple reverts, I think all of these other Mags should look pretty decent. Palantir, I never got. It just didn't get to 10, didn't it? No, it didn't. Yeah, okay, so Palantir never really got to 10. That's where I'm looking for it next. We'll try to be patient with Palantir. If it does a higher low from here, we can try to get a different price. But let's just try to stay into the names that we like and maybe adjust our plan of action and include Uber if it tries to dip, because Uber is an absolute rocket ship.
Yeah. If you guys have been watching this for a minute, you guys know that we've been loving Uber and talking that name up for a while, and it's in our portfolio. So I am a big fan of Uber for now, although I thought that $80 was potentially a good out, and how we traded Uber. And again, I traded this live on the air with you guys in my long-term account. We talked about first buying it right into here at $80 on this dip down in. I liked it. I thought we could see something there. Then it fell into the 200 period. And at that time, I feel like it might have been a little bit lower, but anyways, it was around $70, $71. So we bought some more then. And then our average price was in and around here, 75. And then all of a sudden, it went like this, and we were able to buy. And this is all live on air, right? So we talked about it, and then we were buying more here, and to the point where our average price now is $67.80 or so. So in here somewhere, as we get a nice bump up, I'm thinking about up here, cash it and go on a vacation. All right, well, you can cash me outside with Elf right now because, wow, that one is a $7 banger. We're holding $10 worth of winners right now, but 70% of that is with Elf, of course. And then Palantir, I know Neil did not get back in, but as saying that he has coined, everyone has their own style. We do have it right there on Palantir, and we were able to buy it at that low right there on that move, and that was 111.50. We were going to wait. Like, I have my stop breaking 111. So, and as we just said, I wasn't waiting for this. If we had broke 111, I was going to get out. So, you know, good so far there. 55 cents worth of risk to make $1.30. We'll take it. We'll take another piece out right there at 69er. But here goes the futures right now. This will actually be now P&L number one. It has overtaken Elf on the day right here. And yeah, so far so good. But again, at the end of the day, would have really liked to have loaded up Palantir down there, but didn't have enough confidence, especially with this market doing this. So Palantir still for the win, and now it's trying to go again. So nice trading overall, but Tesla, again, wow. Like, oh, wow. Right into that level 370. Oh, man. Like, we're doing all this while still hosting. Like, I feel like if we had a little bit more eyes on more names, I mean, I'm still been in 5 names today, and that's enough. But Tesla, that's been a good mover. And you know what we haven't looked at once? Big Bear AI. Big Bear AI, $8 right now.
Well, I have these screeners that I have up on eSignal, and I know the mistake I've made with it. I haven't given them the best spot for real estate. That's the problem. Like, real estate matters and when you're looking around. Like, I love my charts, but you gotta sometimes, you know, have a quote board or a scanner a little bit more prominently. That's the best way to think about it. So maybe you don't miss an Uber or something like that. Let's get to the upside. If we get to VWAP on Meta, I'm going to jump out because I still think we're trend down. But let's get to the upside here in the market and go to Adara at the desk, everybody.
Noting here, we actually, since the number that we got there, that inflation number, showing that people are expecting much stronger inflation within the next year than we expected. Since we got that print, there's now been a decrease in people expecting cuts here. Now going up to June. So initially we had a higher expectation for cuts for June. Now we have 43.3% of participants expecting there will be 0 rate change. So we are continuing to see that the chances for that rate cut are going to be pushed back a little bit. This inflation number certainly not helping matters, guys. So just a change in sentiment pretty evident here from that higher than expected University of Michigan 1-year inflation print. Back to you.
Yeah, I'd say there's a little bit of a change in sentiment here on the day. It was obviously, you know, we were cruising for the most part, and I mean, some stocks were cruising. Like, I'm not here to tell you that it was a good opening for AMD, but I'm going to try to get into the short for the first time here. It was a shallow bounce. Okay, the shallow bounce the first time, a little bit better the second time through. 106.50 is the week's low in here on AMD. So that's the target that I'm looking for, and we'll give it to the prior highs. The other thing about AMD is, as long as this channel holds, I favor shorts. One day, maybe this thing will break out above this channel, and I can celebrate the day that I will like a swing trade or something long on AMD. But at that point, a lot will probably have happened. So if we break prior bar high, that's just above 85. Actually didn't have my stop order in. Now we'll get it in, and we'll see where we can go from there. NVIDIA's at VWAP. It's trying to bounce. But look at that. You know, like support to resistance, break the trend. You know, that support, if this stays as resistance, like, why would I don't want to pop long in there. if I wasn't looking at AMD as weaker, I'd be thinking short on NVIDIA, but AMD is weaker, so I'll stick with Advanced Micro Devices, which you know what it's doing. Meta's trying to go, but Gatorman in the chat, you just asked if Google is done dropping. Just distinctly different. Gatorman, I posit you this. If you're looking for a long, this is a chart of Palantir. You still have to have an entry, like maybe like VWAP. I liked 110, so I didn't get it when it lost VWAP, but there's some strength there. And I don't think necessarily that you could make a bottom on Google, but this is just so much weaker than everything else I'm looking at. And it just broke a pretty decent support level at the 50 period on the daily, lost 188, where the buyers have been gold on this stock for a while. Yeah, so a mean reversion trade, if you like that kind of a setup, I do generally if it's holding a big support level. But there's other stocks which look a little bit better for that same type of trade. Again, that's just my 2 cents. You can probably find yourself long off that bottom if you do like it. But yeah, not Google for me. Big Bear AI, shout out to everyone in the chat. It is absolutely breaking out again because it just keeps on going and going and going through the $8 level. Let me zoom it out. So you now have a break of the consolidation. Remember we said about this the last 2 days. It seemed bearish yesterday for Big Bear, but it still held the bottom or the top of this range without really violating it. So that's what you want to see with a small cap runner. Is even on pullback days, do you hold this higher low and then you can take out the top, which Big Bear AI is doing. If it was going to be a flyer today, it was going to be a firm for me. But after we bled, look at a firm on that reversion trade. I went over to Meta, which I'll slap a fail on that. Meta's $1.20 in the money, but that same reversion trade on a firm would be $2.50 in the money if you take that one. So just a better reversion trade here on a firm than what we would have got on Meta. I still like it, but I can't chase that move. We'll just sort of stick with Meta, which we're in right now. What up, Sharif? We want to get to VWAP. That's the plan of action for Meta. Like, it's just not as explosive to the upside. But the reason I take this instead of Google, you hold the low. Hold the low, make the trend revert, work the long to the upside. Elon, shout out to you in the chat. I haven't even looked at Boeing here today. And wow, Palantir, I should say. Right back to 114. Once, twice, Obi, thrice. This is now triple top on PLTR. The other thing is Bitcoin is trying to get back to the upside. So Bitcoin's back to 98.5, and apparently MSTR, someone's saying in my ear, is at the high of the day. I haven't looked at it. And all that bounce, and AMD is still where we sold it. So everything's bouncing, and AMD is, I like that. Like if the market's bouncing and everything's going up, the stock you're short, if it's not falling, at least it's not moving with the rest of the market back to the upside here. But I should probably put a bit at the low of the day.
Oh, man, that was a good, I went and got some water. It's a good little coffee break. It's always nice when you come back and you see what's been happening in the market, and it's been pretty good. And I like hearing Niels mention where our friend Palantir is. So let's get some more out here. I didn't even have an offer up at 114. I did not think that I would leave for 5 minutes and this name would jump up $1.50. But there goes Palantir again. Nice move back to the upside, making it sing for sure. We did have some outs, though, on the futures. It did top out there at 85, so that's going to be a trade. We did look at Big Bear AI earlier. I traded this yesterday.
It's gone.
Or 2 days ago on this, on one of the breaks. I think it was 7:55 break. Yes, it was. I think it was 2 days ago, but right into there, I think, when we broke it. Yeah, in the pre-market, so it was this level, 7:55, and then you can see here today, now Big Bear takes, okay, perfect, takes 7:55 and continues its northbound journey right now. So, yeah, man, so far so good. AI ruling the roost here again, and then as crypto coming into the 100,000 one more time, we have Bitcoin always at the bottom here at 98 and change. All right, we've got a special interview, and it's Adara at the desk.
It's a special crypto update here with Hive Digital. We have CFO Darcy Daubaras back here with us again. How are you doing today, Darcy?
I'm doing great, Adara. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you here again as well. And it's been a pretty interesting week for Bitcoin, especially given we had a couple earnings reports in the space. MicroStrategy just had their rebrand here to Strategy, new name, a Bitcoin in their symbol. So what has the industry reaction been to this rebrand and their heightened focus on their corporate Bitcoin treasury strategy?
Yeah, I think anything MicroStrategy or strategy does these days gets people's attention. Michael Saylor has just been a guru within this industry, bringing a lot more guidance and viewpoints on this. In terms of the rebranding, MicroStrategy could rebrand it to any name, and there's still going to be one that everybody is going to follow. But they've always had this focus. I guess they're just trying to move away from the old, from where they came from, sort of the software, knowing that they're going to be so focused on Bitcoin moving forward. And the industry always follows them or tries to follow what they're doing because he's always ahead of the curve on these things. It's always a great idea to, if you have a chance to listen to anything he says, it's perfect to be able to get to know a lot more about the industry.
It's a really good way of putting it. He certainly is a trendsetter in that regard. Now, also here, someone who's been on watch with regards to crypto is Donald Trump launching these Bitcoin first ETFs. So do you have any opinion on these ETFs in terms of what they might mean for widespread crypto recognition and adoption going forward?
I think anything Trump does gets people's attention. He wants to get those clicks. He wants to get the attention. The one thing I look at is, because it's this family thing, they've always got this going, there is going to be a little bit of apprehension and taking a look at it. Is there a bit of a conflict of interest where him and his family and his marketing team is coming out with these kind of products, but he is also has some control over the people, hiring the people that are going to be approving these kind of things. So it's sort of like judge and jury. He pulls it across. He can almost get anything through because he pulls the purse strings of who's controlling these things. But it definitely gets attention. And right now with this administration, anything that gives more attention to cryptocurrency in general, Bitcoin for sure, it's going to get to better adoption, not being seen as a dark asset. And the more and more people talk about it, the more it's going to be more of a mainstream bread and butter thing. And hey, price is going to go up, we're hoping.
Speaking there of recognition and putting it into the mainstream, I think it's worth talking about regulation here as well. So we had some things happen in the Czech Republic with regards to capital gains taxes here for BTC. So are there any other signs you're seeing here of regulatory easing globally or even in the US and Canada there with regards to crypto or Bitcoin?
I think the big thing, it was great to see the President Pavel come out with that announcement in the Czech Republic. This is something that is being lined up with some changes in the EU with their MiCA coming out in 2025, mid-year. It's just a first step. This kind of a viewpoint on cryptocurrency is something I can see a lot more countries taking. If you hold on to this asset, you shouldn't have to be treated with the capital gains tax on it. I think this is something that's going to be looked at in the United States, looked at in Canada. And it's just, as we say, with more adoption, the regulator is going to start learning about it, understanding that it is going to become more mainstream. And the other thing that the Czech Republic was looking to do when they made this announcement is taking a look at using some kind of a Bitcoin holding for the country. So I think this is just the first step. The more and more that we hear about these things that are out in the press, it's just going to get everybody else talking about it. And within this industry, the more talk we've got, the more adoption, the more people know about it. It's all better for all of us within the cryptocurrency space.
Very well said. Thank you so much again to Darcy DeBarra, CFO of Hive Digital Technologies. You can check them out on the NASDAQ at HIVE. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks, Dara. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Check these hats out. Check these hats out. We buzzing with Hive right now.
Yeah,
so I want to
buddy.
thank Hive for coming through here and sending us this fly merchandise. And yeah, go check out Hive. We just talked about Bitcoin.
I like the pun.
Yeah, 98.5
Well,
right now. All right, we have a new position right now. Let's go, man. Oh, about being read on Tesla. There goes Tesla right now. Yes, sir. Here we go, Neil. We are $1 in the money on Tesla. We're $3 in the money on Palantir. We are $1 in the money on the TQs. And guess what? We are, Neil, $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9 right now in the money on Elf Cosmetics. So it's a nice one here into the day. Okay, here we go, Chef Joe Ayal. We told you that we were on Tesla today. We were first on the short. Now we are on the long. And Neil, here we go again. We are bringing bringing the energy, we're bringing the excitement, and we're bringing the dubs. So there it goes. Tesla, TQs, Palantir, NVIDIA, and ELF. Oh boy, what a day. Thanks, Hive, for coming through again. But yeah, nice move on Tesla right there. Too bad we couldn't trade alive with you guys because we were on that interview. But there's the dip buy opportunity for Tesla. Nice move there. Now to the upside. We're out of about 30% of it. Looking to get out of a little bit more, some size there at 32s.
Size at 32.
Sorry, 72s.
Chewing through the size at 32s, I would imagine. ELF is an absolute. I don't have a pun for that one. It's
100 handles
back
right
on
now,
the shelf.
futures. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna get to eSignal quick little second. Make sure you have your scanners up. But Nvidia is breaking trend to the upside and holding VWAP, so I'm gonna get on that bid. And just as we took some profit at AMD, that also came out. But you know what, traders, listen up. The first month is free with eSignal. That's right, they're waiving their fees so you can trade smarter, and not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience where you have the ability to back test, forward test, utilize every indicator, trade every single market, track every single market, all in one place with lightning fast quotes, reliable data feeds, and game-changing charts. Take replay as a fantastic feature so you can narrow down those entries and exits and where the liquidity might be, and you can do it all in one platform. So don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. First month free at eSignal. So you want to elevate your trading, scan the QR code you see in front of you, check the link in the description, and your trading journey starts right about now. Shout out to eSignal. And you know what? Speaking of eSignal,
wow, dude.
Not surprised. My hot list, it's got all the names, AMD, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, BBAI. Like, those are the names that are up there on the hot list, exactly what you'd expect, although CLSK apparently is there, and I haven't looked at it. So thank you very much, eSignal. Great scanner. See what's moving, what's actually ticking. NVIDIA, we just mentioned NVIDIA bouncing really nicely. But when I was going that read, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get the long right in here. Just as we broke back through VWAP on NVDA and headed back into those highs. So NASDAQ cruising to the upside. Nikola doesn't care. It's still at the low.
All right. Yeah, I mean, so far so good here today. Obviously, as we'll go ELF, positive trade, TQs, Tesla, positive trade. We're going to wait to see what happens with Palantir, but we did go red on Palantir when it did drip through. Wow. Oh, I mean, I'm not even, this Palantir is just really, now we're at 115. Are you kidding me right now? We're long right now, Palantir 111.55. This is a $3. We're $14 in the money, Neil, total positions right now. $8 on ELF, $3 on Palantir, $1 on Tesla, $1 on TQQs. And we'll get back and we'll talk about what's for lunch when we get back from Adara.
I think it's worth noting here, we have Feds Goolsby talking. He started talking during that interview there. But basically what happened here he's basically saying the Fed's on hold for now. So I can see he didn't super comment on that estimate we got, but he did say, or actually we do here, he said the short-term inflation spike shouldn't really matter, but he did say that the Fed is still going to be holding for now, but there should be some lowering, I guess, in rates over the next 12 to 18 months. So no longer in the next year, they're seeing the rate should be a fair bit lower in the next 12 to 18 months. He also said that the speed at which these rates will come down will be slower with more fogginess, quote unquote. I do think it's worth mentioning, though, that he said that the job report was strong and that he's, basically not super worried here about that short-term inflation number, which I think is interesting in case you missed it. The short-term inflation number well above expectations and the one-year basis, about 1% above what we were expecting there. So Feds Goolsby still talking, some tariff mentions as well, but basically the exact comments we got from other Feds on the topic. Back to you.
I wanted to quickly, so yeah, Palantir, you're right, is a fire-breathing dragon right now. Palantir was, I mean, if you're following anybody for trading, I think that's what, especially beginning traders, you should try to at least get some ideas, and that's why we sort of put out this sticky note every day. There's Palantir long, 111. Just keep with momentum. I mean, it was a very, very simple idea and a very, very simple trade, and there goes Palantir. Like 111 longs. I mean, pretty good there. Elf there as well. Tesla, this could be that fire-breathing dragon as well as we wait to get some more out here at 60s. Did we just get those? Yes, we did. So, I mean, again, another $2. Palantir, $4. Qs is at 100. We're 100 handles in on the futures right now. So, yeah, it's been quite the day, needless to say. We just missed NVIDIA back there to the upside, so that's it. We only have 10% of ELF left, so I'm going to think about putting a stop in. Where's the 50-period moving average? How about a 70 break? We called 64 to 70. Of course, it gets to 73 there, but I'm going to put a stop in right now. You know where my stop is initially on this? $1. So 10 to 1 winner at maximum there, or sorry, 9 to 1. We'll see if it comes back in though. $70 break. We are out of ELF. Let's cancel our first stop order and put this new one in. 69.99. 69. I was gonna go 79. Well, 69, right there. Okay, there you go. Stop order set at 69.5, and then we'll wait to see if it breaks a little bit lower than that, and then we'll get out. So we don't want to always use exactly the 50-period moving average because look at the spread, right? The spread right here is 30 cents. So you're gonna have to say that if it hits this, it may tick something down here, and then I'll get triggered out, and it may not be the right play. But we've just been scalping out. So we have about 10 to 15% left of all of these positions. It's been a kind of a topsy-turvy day there. And by the way, that's what we want to do. We want to talk about what was for. Lunch. What's up, Vizbot? Okay, so what is for lunch today? It's actually pretty good. I've already read it. It is right on par with what we're expecting here for Football Friday.
That's how
as we get ready to go. It's panko crusted chicken breast fillets. So maybe potentially a little healthier than fried chicken fingers, but panko crusted chicken breast fillets with French fries and a side Caesar tortilla chips. Oh, here we go. I didn't even see this part. Tortilla chips and salsa.
Well, it'd be
nice if there was some guac there, but as prices still right now for guacamole, okay, as we do not have those
I was going to
tariffs.
say, there's almost no chance that our caterer is giving us guac. I would love it, and it's exactly
I'd say there's a chance.
I'm feeling chilly this weekend because that's not cold. Like chili is usually the football thing for me.
It'll always be chili. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. I love a good chili. Oh man. Anyway, so now I'm getting hungry. I'm about to eat a salad in about 20 minutes, or half an hour. So that's gonna make me more hungry. I'm into NVIDIA off VWAP. I mean, it's basically that's a bad trend line. Whatever. I won't cancel it for now, but you get the idea. Bottoms, holds higher lows, holds VWAP, pull back into this little resistance spot, go into the long. But again, it does not break 129.80. So exactly, like this is where we were buying it earlier. This is where we're selling it. Now you're still rejecting this here on NVDA. Just a quick update on, because I'm still in it, and I don't know where I'm going to be adding to this if we don't get any more pull up. Like it's been like a stair step down on Nikola, and I feel like if it breaks 40, or whatever, the actual low is 39. So if it breaks 40, I almost don't care. But it's a flat bottom break, which is setting up at 43, which I might take. If it holds this for like an hour, if I ever see this stock hold like an hour long at the same level, then I'm taking the break of that level. I've seen that before on like these going bankrupt stocks where they catch a little bit of a bid and no one can hit it because it's SSR. And then when it finally goes, it's nasty to the downside. That's what I'd look for next on Nikola. But NVIDIA needs to hold VWAP. We've scalped a little bit out, but still holding 2/3 of it. I want that high of the day. Let's see if we can break it out on NVDA. Hertz Scrambler, Lilly tanking? No. Oh, no. I haven't even looked at Eli Lilly. No, it's not. Lilly's up 1%. Lilly's cool. They're okay. They're just fine. That's a relatively strong stock. Market's at the lows. It's at VWAP.
All right, thank you everybody for subscribing. I'm going to check in to see what our like count is all about right there. I just said there's only a couple minutes left. You can ask us anything you want. You can see our positions right there. I still have a bunch, but the newest position, I guess, is the NVIDIA one. So watch out for that 129.55. We just got some more out of Palantir at 115 and at 114.50 right there. So yeah, I think Palantir is going to break that 115, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, forget about it. Another reload spot for me would be right down here on the TQQ. So if we get anything into $84, we'll be able to see what's going on there as well. And that will be another long for me in and around 84.10s or so, watching out for that low break of the day. And if we do that, then see ya, and we are out of that trade for sure. Yeah, man, let's just have a look. So we already talked about where our out's going to be on ELF. NVIDIA, we already wrote down for NVIDIA, the trade that we wanted was 127 to 127.50. We should have been there. We were over. look, we made a bunch of money back there, a lot of money back on Palantir and on the Qs when it fell through. We did not have any dip buy bids on NVIDIA. That was a mistake, my bad on that one. We did have dip buy opportunities on Tesla, and we put Tesla right back into our pocket and made that a top stock here today again as well. So Tesla was a good one. We lost our way early, quickly, and then boom, right there back to the upside again for Tesla. So let's wait to see. I want to be patient with this market. It's still very, very early in the day. It's only 10:46 right now. So yeah, thanks, Pro Day Trader, for your kind words again. Yeah, so there you go. So I don't know if you want to talk about your NVIDIA trade, but I don't have anything else new. So let's go back over to you.
I was actually just tweeting it out. Give me
Okay.
a second. No, it's fine. I can talk about it, then I'll tweet it out later. We got wicked
I
off.
can go.
No, it's okay. We got wicked off the bottom, but I'm going to jump back in. If I get wicked out like this, a lot of times it means you're transacting at the right price area, but you didn't have the right out, and you might want to give it a little bit further. So we did lose VWAP on NVIDIA, but as long as it's above, I want to keep giving it shots and see what it's able to do here. You've had upward trend most of the time, and it hasn't always been, like if you look at it yesterday, like it was holding the trend, but it was not all that clean. Eventually, when it went, it was going to be good enough because you could get 26 to 28, and then you got late in the day 27 into the highs at 29. So there's multiple chances you had to capture those bigger moves, and as long as it holds VWAP, you got a 80 cents to $1 to the high, and then see what it can do from there. Respect the fact that 130 on a Friday is probably going to have some resistance on it no matter what, and this 129.80 has been a bit of a thing. Daryl Flinch in
Let's go, Palantir.
Daryl saying we didn't short Google.
Oh, man.
Could have been a great short. Yeah, a lot of things could have been great shorts today, Daryl. No question about it.
Ooh.
But if you're bullish, you're bullish. You know.
Yeah, look, man. I mean, I'll talk about my day here. I have 3 wins and 2 losses. We've traded 5 names today, so it's not like it's been, all cups of Joe here. Like we did wind up losing. What's up, Joe? We did wind up losing on NVIDIA once it wound up plowing right through there against us again. So we just were not like that. Caught us off guard, and then that was a loss there because again, remember we got there. We weren't able to do too much. We averaged it back. So this is like a flat trade, and then there's a buy, there's a sell, there's some buys, and there's through. So we're going to be red on NVIDIA today. Palantir is going to be position pending, but getting dropped out right there of a max position breaking through. That will create us red right there for Palantir. But now we have this back up to the upside, so hopefully that will work out for us. And then everything else is green, man. Tesla's been huge. And then the TQQs is been, the P&L number 1 is ELF. But TQQs and Tesla right there are in the pocket for me as well. Here comes ELF right back up there to 73. So, 3 winning stocks, 2 red stocks. I don't know what you guys are, but you guys can put your day there in the chat as well if you'd like. Just to create some more content. But right now the Qs are making that move there to the upside, as is Tesla as a all right now. I mean, these are all new positions, right? I mean, and we just held on to them. So Tesla, relatively new. This is a 1-minute chart. So we're now $2. Look, this is $2 in the money from 2 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, right? So that's a good trade here. The TQs, we put this one on at 10:15, so that's about a half hour in. That's $1 in the money. The Palantir trade we put on about a half hour ago. That is now $1, $2, $3 now in the money. So yeah, man, like we're not resting on our trades. We're putting them up today. It's a 3 and 2 day. It hasn't been great, man. We'll wait to see if we can get some more money though as the midday comes. And what's up, Adam DeLuce? You have to ask Sharif if I'm allowed. He wants me to make a cameo and talk a little stock on the midday show. So I got to confirm it with the boss man over here. So we'll do that very, very soon. But yesterday we had a meeting, so we did not go to the pool. So we'll be doing that today, but we'll come back. And ADL, I got you, my guy right there. I see real traders, man. Bang right there as we go through again, Neil. This is what trading's all about. Stack them, stack them. There goes Palantir. It is your number 1 trade off the sticky note. It's $4 in the money, and let's go, man. No, it's cool. It's cool. cool. As we go, let's go to the upside. Let's keep going to Adara. Right now, like we have $4 in the money on Palantir, $3 in the money on Tesla, 100 handles in the money on the TQs, and $8 in the money on ELF. How about you? Let's go market to the upside, and let's go to Adara and see what's going on with Money Talks. Hello, Money.
Thank you for that, Sharif. Yeah, I know that the USD is certainly not getting it to the upside today. We're running into some resistance here at that 107.7 level for the US dollar here on the DXY. And we have a little bit of uncertainty just due to the sheer amount, A, of economic data, and B, kind of shocking economic data we got today. So we started off the day with non-farm payrolls. They were a little bit lower than expected, 143,000 versus 175,000 expected, and 250,000 previously. So below the previous and expected number here for those non-farm payrolls. Private payrolls also a little bit here below estimates, and unemployment rate slightly below estimates here, 4.0 versus 4.1 expected. Now we have to talk about the massive number, though, that we got at 10 a.m., slightly below expected here for the University of Michigan consumer sentiment, 67.8 versus 71.9 expected. But the bigger issue here is the University of Michigan inflation estimates or inflation expectations. So we have 4.3% now is the expected one-year inflation. Previously, it was 3.3%, and that's what analysts are looking for as well. So well below estimates there for that, well above estimates for the one-year inflation. 5-year inflation also slightly above estimates. Although Feds Goolsbee basically dismissed that print when he had some comments today on Yahoo Finance, though he did say that he thinks it's going to take a little bit longer than 2025 to get to the neutral policy rate. We know there have been a little bit of slowing here in these inflation expectations in terms of when we'll actually get these rate cuts. We'll have to wait and find out. But Feds Goolsbee did reiterate that they're on the path to 2% inflation and echoed comments from fellow Fed speakers who have basically been saying what's going to matter here for the tariffs has a little bit to do with, are they going to be one time or they're going to be repeated? Feds Goolsbee said the same thing. So these Feds basically in lockstep. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Adara. Appreciate you. You always got to listen to the Fed speakers, but it doesn't necessarily matter that much. The momentum is turn right back into the upside. And sometimes you just got to get back in. If you're going to hold VWAP once, great. If you're going to hold it twice, great. But sometimes it took like a third time in here for NVIDIA to really confirm and hold on. We just hit, wow, that was intense.
President Trump.
What happened? Trump said something. Trump, reciprocal tariffs, I just heard.
Yeah, reciprocal tariffs.
So reciprocal tariffs from Donald Trump.
Dropping.
Everything is dropping. My quotes didn't even work just there.
Bye-bye.
I was just getting filled on NVIDIA, and then Trump just did this.
Wow, so like a huge hit right there. Same thing for me on the TQs, on everything. You're
there we go. We're back.
Yeah. All right, so Palantir does Shabuzi down there a little bit into 114, but this is why we talked about only having 10%, only having so much amounts. We were just $10 in the money there, but look what's happening right now for TQQs. There's the move down. Whoops, we get 84, and then we lose it again. So here we go, man, back into 83.50. This could be a great buying opportunity, but might be worth settling down now. We talked about how crazy these moves would be with Trump, but yeah, here we go. Sharp moves down following that headline. Let's see if the Qs are settling down a little bit. We're back in to the futures long right now. Settle down, young Padawan. Settle down. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's go over to Adara, I guess. Was that what the call was? All right, Adara, what you got for us? We're still going.
About the tariff drop, so I want to clarify, Donald Trump has not said this yet. Reuters is reporting that he has told Republican lawmakers that he plans to issue reciprocal tariffs as early as Friday. But we know Reuters has been wrong before. They were wrong last week, or at least they were corrected last week when they said that these tariffs would immediately be delayed because then Donald Trump came out and actually issued the tariffs right there for February 1st. We'll have to wait and find out, but Reuters reporting that Trump has told Republican lawmakers that these reciprocal tariffs could be hitting as early as Friday. So I want to clarify, Trump has not said this himself yet. I think that's a really key thing to note. And also, again, it's Reuters, which the White House has disputed before. So I really want to paint a clear picture on the veracity and the accuracy of this statement as of right now, because we don't know yet. It's purely a report, guys. Back to you.
Well said.
All right.
Well said. You know what? Like, buy the one that's above VWAP. Maybe it's it could be Uber. It could be a Big Bear is a different kind of stock, but this is the third time you're going to get a nice bounce here on Palantir. I went right over and I could have bought back into NVIDIA, but I went over to Palantir and it just held 114. We're going to get back to the 115 level, and that's sort of the thing.
Guys.
Palantir's been the one to set upside. let's get a break of 115 here.
Yes,
I think
yes.
if it goes again, if we break the highs after that kind of a headline, there should be no stopping this sucker.
Oh boy, we just got right back into the futures again. Let's go, man. Let's see if we can run this thing here again for us on PLTR and the Qs and everything. We did buy back into Tesla. That went up and then stopped at the 200 period again. So I think what Adair is reporting is very, very important. Like, not confirmed yet. So I feel like that is pretty key when you hear terminology like that. So, all right, if we break through 370, that very bottom there was 369.50. I'm going to hold it till that bottom. Actually, that's 369. So maybe we'll get a little bit lighter on some of these positions. Where's my stop orders in there for Tesla? Now I have to change all these stops, right? Because everything has changed a little bit there. All right, so I'm going to put it in 368.99. If we can break below that, then we'll get out because, again, maybe misunderstood on the tariffs, but I can see right now that we are in a little bit of trouble as this market tries to hold. We're still in Palantir, but pretty light. The newest position really is just Tesla. We did get out of some of those Qs, so that's going to be a good trade there to the upside. But Tesla falling back in again here. And no matter what, Tesla's going to be affected by this because, again, tariffs, obviously we know that that's going to affect Mexico, so on and so forth. So watch out for Tesla dripping down in here. There's 370 right now, so watch out for that break low on Tesla. 369 break, and we are out of TSLA.
Yeah, what a world. Derek just walked past and said, what a world, 100% true. Like as quickly as
the market didn't.
Well, I mean, it's the headline risk.
Yep.
That's sort of it. Like, at any particular moment, like even before I heard,
look at that Palantir.
Before I even heard it on Benzinga, heard it in the news source, I already saw the quote. Like you see the bid drop first, and then a split second later, you hear the news, so you kind of know what's happening. But you know what? If you make a fresh low after something like this, usually it's like, let's go long into VWAP. Nah, because the wicks are this bad, give it a tight stop, and if it does a deeper dive, be willing to make a mean reversion on the deeper dive. Because you still have a bit of a head and shoulders here on Palantir. So, I mean, we'll see. Will it actually be a continuation to the downside? I think you let it settle down a bit. Anything that's on trend, I want to stick with the trend. I'd mentioned a couple times there, we should also be looking at Uber for that. This is Uber. This is Uber. Like it's holding higher lows the whole way through. If this doesn't break its trend, that's a good dip buy, relatively speaking, as well. And it's got a nice little, there's your lower highs. If it trends into VWAP, I'd look for a revert in Uber. That's the power of going to a strong stock. Palantir has been given to you for I was going to say 3 days in a row, but since earnings and a long time before that too.
Yeah. Palantir's been giving it to us for a minute. Right now, we're going to sit a little bit down here because we just got some out at 371.60 on Tesla, giving us 40 cents. It's not like a huge win. We got out of literally 3% there on that move higher. So let's see if we can get back up into VWAP 374. I do have more offers, though, upside. If we can get 372 is where I'm sitting. So if we can get a 372, we'll take that. And then we're higher. And then we're right here. Then we're all over VWAP and higher. But it doesn't mean that this is going to go. Tesla, I could see it being quite weak into this news. So we'll try it. Probably not the greatest. We have reloaded, of course. Not reloaded, sorry. We're monitoring this TQQ position. This is a long in the futures. It feels silly, of course. We'll get some more out here at 17s as it gets back up to the upside. But it does feel a little bit wrong, obviously, to be going longs right now with such negative headlines coming through. So let's just wait to see. Trump will often, look at the stock market and figure out maybe that was not a great idea. And I know Adair said what a world we're living in, but that was not even, that move right there was the exact same move that already happened at 9 o'clock right there, even more dramatic right there. It actually at 10 o'clock on the consumer sentiment, Michigan sentiment. So we do have a lot more. What I'm saying is that this could get a lot worse. Not that wasn't, we lost on that move. That sucks to have been part of it long. But at the same time, we could get killed a lot. If you don't have stops, that move could be 10 times worse. So just be very, very careful with all of that. So that would be my little advice here, especially with heading into the midday. Maybe use a little bit less shares here and try to play key levels instead of worrying about scalping too much because you're gonna get wicked out if you're scalping. That is for sure. So that would be my advice here heading into the close. Like that's why my stop on Tesla is 368 and why we're trying to make $2 or lose $2. I think that's the right attitude here into this. And what a good day, what a fun day, one of our best shows ever.
It's been a fun one for sure, and that's the thing. It's going to be like this every single.
We don't need to have winning trades to
Every
have
single
great
day.
shows. It's about the action. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? I mean, even though these trades are against us.
And keep it in the pocket, right? Like ultimately, like Tesla. Sorry, I meant to say like a Palantir. A Palantir and Uber. Like if you find a stock that's continuously working and working and working, like try to focus on going back to that and like be able to give up on the ones that aren't, right? So that so Nvidia is a losing trade today, but then Palantir is a little bit better than Nvidia. But we are still in a bit of we're at an undecided point since that news. Like we've held a bit of a bounce, but we haven't made the next move yet, like a break of the local high or break of the local bottom. So we're in a little bit of a spot here. It's an interesting time. Well, head you guys on over to the midday, but literally we're at a you-know-what or get-off-the-pot level on a lot of these Mag 7 names. And as a matter of fact, I just looked up and Apple lost a bit.
We haven't talked about this in a minute, but we also have Fed speaking, like as we speak.
And that's the other thing that's happening too.
It's kind of like, just like that's what I'm saying. Temper your expectations.
Neil
here.
Kashkari was speaking earlier today.
Yeah, well, he's crashing the car of Tesla, it seems like right now. Down through 370. Come on, Neil Kashkari, man, get in there. Use full self-drive.
He spells it weird. He spells it with a K.
He should have just put the market on full self-drive. I mean, we were going long, and it was all fine. And now we're coming right back in. It looks like Tesla will lose. Right now, we're logged here at 369.60. Okay, let's get over to the midday show. Thank you so much. Try not to catch a falling knife here like I've been doing. 370 in play now for Tesla, possibly for a short. Let's see what winds up happening.
See you guys.
We're still long everything. See you, everybody.
Boom! There it is, baby. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade during the midday. That